station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
Tonight, the start of yet another four-game series, and a big one it is, between the Detroit Tigers and Minnesota Twins. And with 10 weeks left in the regular season, the race is on, particularly in the American League Central. 4 teams within 5 games of first place. And we welcome you to Target Field. Dick Bramer along with Roy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blyleven. He's in Cooperstown. The one in New York, not the one in North Dakota. And the Twins and Tigers will open up the series tonight. And one of these two teams, if they do win the division, their fate will probably be determined by how well Joe Mauer and Miguel Cabrera do in the last 10 weeks.
A real treat for baseball fans the next 4 games to get to watch 2 of the very, very best at their craft. Joe Mauer has hit about 500 since he came back from the All-Star break, or since the All-Star break, and this is how he's done it. Classic Mauer, hit the ball to every part of the ballpark. And then you've got Miguel Cabrera, who's a legitimate Triple Crown threat every year, but especially this year. This guy is a joy to watch for somebody who's a mechanics junkie like I am for hitters. Miguel Cabrera is about as good as it gets.
Well, the one thing that the Tigers have over everybody else in the American League, once every 5 days, they get to run out the best pitcher in the American League. He may win 20 games this year. He may win his first Cy Young Award. Justin Verlander has elevated his game this year. So what's the difference this year, Roy, between the very good Justin Verlander we've seen and the great one this year?
Well, he's always had 4+ pitches. He's got 4 major league pitches for stuff. But look at this, 95 miles an hour. Now, that's an average. He'll throw from 92 to 100 all during the game. That's fastest in the American League in baseball. But now you look at his location. That's the biggest difference. He's staying out of the middle of the plate, and he's throwing that 95-mile-an-hour pitch on the corners. Now look at the breaking ball. 95, 96 fastball, not enough. How about a 12-6 curveball at 79 miles an hour? That changes your eye angle. It goes up to your eyes and then drops off the table. And now the slider looks like a fastball coming out of his hand and then darts down and away. If that's not enough, Dick, he's got a change-up as well. You never know what to look for. As Ron Coomer said in the pregame show, get on that heat and just hope you can adjust to anything else.
A couple years ago, American League managers voted Verlander's curve and fastball the best in the American League. So the Twins have their work cut out for them tonight in Game 1 with the Tigers. Ball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
The Minnesota Twins, for the second consecutive series, find themselves playing the first-place team. It's Justin Verlander taken to the mound against the Minnesota Twins, and he has pitched well against the Twins in his career. He's got the 7 wins. The ERA, not as low as he'd like it to be, but still, he's Justin Verlander, and he's one of the best in the American League, if not one of the best in all of baseball. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Thanks for tuning in. Twins got to face him tonight, and he can go a long way into a ball game and throw a lot of heat. Just ask Michael Kadire, as I did earlier, what it's like facing Justin Verlander.
91 to 99 for 120 pitches. A plus curveball, plus changeup, plus slider, and plus location. So, yeah, he's got it all going for him.
Verlander will be opposed by Carl Pavano tonight on the mound. Butera catching, Joe Mauer at first base. One of the best pitchers, and a nice game coming your way next.
Amazing 7-week run for the Twins. In early June, it looked as if this may be a lost season. Since, they rallied and have pulled from 16.5 back in the Central to just 5. This weekend, it's an important showdown with the division-leading Tigers. Can the Twins continue to make up ground? We'll find out. Twins, Tigers, next. Justin Verlander about to make his first appearance of the year against the Twins. And yeah, the Tigers have a 5-game lead on the Twins. And that difference can be made up in the 5 head-to-head meetings because Detroit has won all 5. And Carl Pavano's job tonight is to stop that Tiger winning streak.
And to stop a really good Tiger lineup. These guys can really hit 1 through 9, especially that guy right there, Miguel Cabrera.
Menards batting order for the Tigers. Austin Jackson leading off. Brennan Bosch hitting second. Maglio Ordonez third in front of Cabrera. The key this year seems to be the guy hitting behind him, Victor Martinez. Guys, maybe, plural. Johnny Peralta having a good year. Carlos Guillen back on the active roster. Alex Avila and Wilson Betamit, who was property of the Royals 24 hours ago. And Carl Pavano on the mound, hoping to, in his 20th start of the year, continue his success against the Detroit Tigers.
He's pitched very well against the Tigers because he knows how to pitch. Veteran guy, doesn't have Verlander stuff, but has real moxie. He knows how to throw to all spots in the strike zone. That's what he's going to have to do tonight.
Beautiful weather here tonight. It's much less humid and cooler, very pleasant. And another 4-game series getting underway here. Hardly a cloud in the sky, and we are underway. First pitch foul to the screen, 1 strike.
The key for Pavano tonight will be to get ahead of hitters. Obviously, we say that about all pitchers, but very important for a guy that needs to work around the zone.
Bouncer to short. Jackson swings at the first 2 pitches, and he's retired. 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Young, Revere, Kadire. Infield of Valencia, Nishioka, Casilla, and Mauer. Of course, with Pavano on the mound, Drew Butera does the catching, and so Mauer gets first base again. And boy, Roy, you played a little bit over there at first base towards the end of your career. He seems to have made this transition very easily.
It just isn't as easy as he's made it look, that's for sure. And Twins fans could be looking at a guy that wins a Gold Glove at 2 positions and somewhere before he's done.
A called strike to Brennan Bosch.
And there's another key for Pavano. Not only get ahead, but get ahead with different pitches on the first pitch. Be able to pitch a little bit backwards, throw other pitches in fastball counts.
A little bit low, 1-1. Swing and a miss. Bosch is hoping that he will not fall apart in the second half as he did last year, and the early returns encouraging for the Tigers. He's had a much better second half so far.
I think this young man is going to be a real stud. I liked him when he came up. I was amazed at how he fell off last year with this seaming ability that he has, and he's been very good. The difference this year, Dick, he's hitting really well against left-handed pitching, and left-handed pitchers made him look pretty sick last year, and he's hitting the high 300s this year against left-handers. If he can do that, he's going to be an absolute star in this league.
Second on the team with 100 hits, 37 extra base hits. This one's skied, a foul ball that'll come back into the seats. But yeah, 100 hits. Only Cabrera has more, 104. 24 doubles, 13 home runs. And Pavano has him 2-2 here in the first inning. Foul back to the screen. Pavano, when he first came over with the Twins, had great success against the Tigers. He beat them when he was with the Indians. Came over and beat them regularly early in his Twins career. And the perfect guy to have on the mound as this key 4-game series gets underway. Tapped foul, the at-bat still alive.
Good job of keeping the at-bat alive by Brennan Bosch there. He's seen just about everything that Carl's thrown. Carl's thrown the ball in real good spots so far. He got away with 1 fastball in the middle of the plate. That last one was a changeup, and Bosch was just able to get a piece of it. That was a good pitch.
Just off the outside corner, and the count's full with Maglio Ordonez on deck.
This is the pitch that Carl Pavano really wants. 2-2. Well, pitcher would love to have that pitch every count, but he had him set up right there for that fastball. Just missed the corner. Here's a fastball situation. Let's see if he throws something other than fastball.
One up, and he fouled it straight back. So Bosch, a couple of times, has gotten a fastball up and missed it.
Most left-handed hitters, and I think Brennan Bosch is similar. Most left-handed hitters tend to like the ball down. The lead arm is their throwing arm. Oftentimes the right arm, and you tend to drop the bat a little bit easier on low pitches than you do on pitches up. But Bosch's a pretty good fastball hitter up there, is from what I've seen, and those are mistakes. Carl doesn't want to have that pitch too often to any of these guys.
Twins baseball brought to you in Sony High Definition. So a long battle here between Pavano, who got a quick first out on just 2 pitches. And he's thrown 9 pitches already to Bosch.
3-2 fastball that Bosch missed. He's probably looking for it again, see if he throws something else.
Lazy fly ball to right. Carrying out to the warning track. And Kadire with the catch. That ball went farther than I thought. 2 down. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. So we're really stretching out Twins territory here tonight. We're glad to have you folks with us. Strike 1 to Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez has spent some time on the disabled list again this year. And Pavano gets ahead of him 0-2.
Good slider there.
Ordonez has only played in about half the games for the Tigers. 2 strikes. Popped up behind first. Mauer backpedaling, makes the catch. So a fairly easy 1-2-3 first inning for Carl Pavano. Actually out in the field during early BP today, just lightly being involved in the affairs on the field. Here's the Menards batting order for Gardy and the Twins: Ben Revere, Alexi Casilla, Joe Mauer, Michael Kadire, Jim Thome, Danny Valencia, then Delman Young, Tsuyoshi Nishioka, and Drew Butera.
They're going to be in a battle against this guy. It's like a war when you go up against a guy that's got this kind of stuff. It gets your attention. These guys are going to have to get on the fastball that he's going to throw anywhere from 92 or 3 up to high 90s, as Michael Kadire said. And got to get on that fastball, so if you get one in the middle of the plate, you have a chance to hit it.
And at the knees, a strike to Revere, who has at least seen Verlander before last year, so he knows what he's dealing with. Revere didn't have the best of series against the Indians, hoping for a good one against the Tigers. At 93, strike 2.
We were talking with some of the Detroit Tiger personnel. They were saying, and Rod Allen, the TV analyst in particular, saying that Verlander has really changed. He's not trying to throw as hard early in the game. Come out in the first couple innings, establish his location, throw 92, 93. only 92, 93. But when he gets in a tough situation, you'll see that velocity start to elevate.
2 strikes to Revere. Checked his swing, I think. Well, appeal. It's 1-2. So Verlander's thrown him 2 fastballs for called strikes and then a couple of hooks.
Looks like he just held up. That's always such a subjective call on behalf of that third base umpire that makes the call. But it looked like he held up. I think that was a good call.
1-2. Chopper to short. Peralta has an easy play. And Revere retired, 1 away. Fast as Revere is, I'm not sure there's any such thing as an easy play, but 1 away. Tigers in the field. Brennan Bosch in left. Austin Jackson in center. Maglio Ordonez in right. Wilson Betemit, Johnny Peralta, Carlos Guillen, and Miguel Cabrera around the infield. Avila doing the catching. And the Tigers surprised a lot of people in acquiring Betemit. That wasn't the surprising thing. The surprising thing is they designated their longtime third baseman, Brandon Inge, for assignment. And Inge accepted that and will report to Toledo unless somebody out of the clear blue decides to assume his contract. Little bouncer to the right side. Sounded like a cracked bat. And Guillen throws to Cabrera. 2 down. And here's Joe Mauer.
Well, it was only a matter of time before we saw the real Joe. He's finally got his legs strong again, his legs underneath him. I think his mind is relaxed again, and he's just doing what he does. Let the ball get back over the plate and serve it all over the field. He's a pleasure to watch. Just a joy to watch hit when he's swinging the bat like he can and like he does so often.
2 gone. Mauer at the plate. And ball 1.
What's really fun, excuse me, Dick, what's fun to watch about Joe when he's hitting is how casual and soft he is with his stride. He just never really seems to be in a big hurry, except when he's scuffing a little bit, which he was early in the season. Everything was a little bit speeded up, but you see that little soft little stride, and he was taking that pitch all the way, I think, but that's the way he strides when he's ready to hit as well. That's one of the things that makes him such a great hitter.
1-1. Up and away, 2-1. Verlander coming off one of his more disappointing starts, actually. Gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned, and a loss to the White Sox. 2-1. 3-1. To give you some idea what he was like, though, before that, he'd given up a total of 5 runs in his 6 starts before that.
That's some serious, as the players say, that's some serious dealing right there.
3-1 to Mauer. And a ground ball backhanded by Guillen, and he throws him out. So 3 ground ball outs on 11 pitches for Justin Verlander. Well, each starting pitcher has a 1-2-3 first inning. And now Miguel Cabrera will lead off the second for Detroit against Carl Pavano. Pavano's numbers against Detroit, as we showed you, 5 wins and 7 decisions. And the Twins, the last time they saw the Tigers, 16.5 games back, and the margin now is just 5. It's been a remarkable turnaround. The Twins hope to keep the graph going in terms of how well they play, particularly at home. First pitch tap foul. They've won 18 of their last 24 games here at Target Field.
They're playing great, and so much of it because of how well Carl Pavano and the rest of the starting staff has pitched. I mean, they've been just terrific.
1-1.
This guy can some kind of hit. He, like Joe Mauer, it's difficult to get for a pitcher to get him in a hurry, which is important when you're pitching against good hitters, major league hitters. Try to get them looking for fastballs and wanting to pull fastballs. That opens up the outside part of the plate, opens up the strike zone for off-speed stuff. But Cabrera is so strong, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark from anywhere, and he's comfortable, he's confident in how quick he is inside.
That's to center, and Revere coming in, and he's got to play it on a hop. First hit of the game comes on a little flare into center field by Miguel Cabrera.
And this is what great hitters can do. They can fight off inside pitches. If he were looking for that ball in, he'd have turned on that ball and gotten the big end, but he doesn't know what's coming, so he waits a long time. He's so strong and able to throw his hands inside there and drop that little single into center field. Of course, Revere playing deep, just can't get there. The other thing, when you're an outfielder and a big guy takes a big swing like that, your first instinct is to at least hold, if not break back. And you see a lot of big guys getting dunks off the end of the bat or off the label in front of outfielders.
Strike one to Victor Martinez, first year with the Tigers, and the Tigers wanted to get some protection behind Cabrera so teams would be more apt to pitch to him, and it's worked out okay. Martinez hitting the ball well and forcing teams to deal with Cabrera where otherwise last year they might not have. Down low, 1-1.
And even if they don't deal with, to use your term, to deal with Cabrera, and they put him on intentionally or semi-intentionally, pitch around him, this guy comes up and can really hurt you. And Johnny Peralta behind Victor Martinez here. Those 3 guys, and especially those 2 guys behind Cabrera, giving him protection or giving the Tigers protection if teams choose to pitch around Cabrera.
Sliced foul, 1-2. Twins were swept in Detroit. They were 20 games below 500, and since then, look what's happened. The Twins played much better baseball than Detroit. The Tigers have played about 500 baseball since then. The Twins have outpitched the Tigers by a full run in earned run average since then.
Justin Verlander notwithstanding, the Twins starters have pitched better than the Tigers starters in that streak. And as Bert would like to say, it all starts with a starting pitcher.
Bouncer right side, should be 2. 1, 2. Tailor-made double play ball. Let's get an update on Jason Kubel from Robbie and Smikowski.
Well, guys, in the Sanford Health Injury Update, it's great news with Jason Kubel. He's on an airplane right now, headed back to the Twin Cities. He's going to get that final evaluation from the team doctor tomorrow and likely will be activated before tomorrow's game. He's been out 46 games with a midfoot sprain, suffered coincidentally in Detroit, jumping for a home run ball. But Jason Kubel, by all accounts, looks to be ready to rock and roll and look for the Twins to make a roster move following tonight's ball game. Dick and Roy.
All right, very good, Robbie. It'll be good to get Kubel back. He hurt his foot against the Tigers here. Johnny Peralta in his first full year with Detroit. They got him from Cleveland midseason last year. Hey, what about Nishioka at short? Looked like he might have dropped down a little bit here to get the runner out of the way.
And this is what you have to do. The runner's coming at you. You got to come a little bit sideways. Get down. I'd like to see him come even lower than that. Guy come in there that high, that long, for that long, that deep. Boy, I'll tell you what, when I was coming across the bag, I would look that guy right in the eyes and drop down low and throw it right at his forehead, because he was running from first base. If I threw it through him, the ball was going to go to first base, and It didn't take very long for the reputation to get around. You know what? You better get me because you were going to get down if you didn't.
Nishioka playing his first game against the Tigers, so you know he wants to leave a good impression, especially with the big guys like Cabrera, that you better get down because, well, I always thought Cal Ripken was the best. Ripken would almost submarine the ball from second base over to first.
And he threw that way a lot anyway, so it was very easy for Cal to drop down. But you have to be the aggressor out there in the middle of the double play.
Backhanded, sets, fires. Good play by Nishioka. Pavano gives up a leadoff single, throws just 13 pitches, facing just 3 batters.
Have a very tough task tonight, the hitters do, facing Justin Verlander. I had a chance to talk to some of the guys earlier today and just reminiscing about times that I had to face a guy like, let's say, Randy Johnson or Roger Clemens, guys that threw really hard. Tonight, Verlander throwing 100 miles an hour. And guys, Roy, you know this for sure. You got to be short and quick to the baseball, and talking with Tommy in particular today about making sure that he gets that loop out of his swing because of the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And what you mean by that is the barrel of the bat, if it starts getting going towards the pitcher, you're in trouble because then it's got to come back and it loops. What the guys are going to try to do tonight is really be short to the ball and their hands go right down to the hitting zone and make contact with the baseball. You got to eliminate the movement tonight with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, guys.
You're sure right, Combe. You know, that's a great point. You call it hand-eye coordination, but if you take your hands to the ball and the big end's behind you 2 feet, it doesn't make any difference when you're hitting. When your hands come, the big end of the bat's got to be there with it, right?
Verlander missing with a fastball and then the breaking pitch. 2-0 now to Michael Kadire. Fastball on the outside corner. Now don't let the 91 fool you, because they say Verlander typically does that in the early innings, ramps it up a little bit in the middle innings, and then flames out in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. A high drive to right center field. Austin Jackson has a long run. He'll play the bounce, or it will play him. Kadire around second, on his way to third, and he's got a leadoff triple. Kadire hit it a long way from home plate, and he stands at third with nobody out.
Great swing by Michael Kadire. It looked to me like it was some kind of breaking pitch out over the plate. He stayed with it. Looked like a slider to me. Yep, there it is, a kind of a nothing hanging slider. And those are the ones, when you get those pitches off a great pitcher, you gotta hit them. Michael Kadire knows how to play that fence out there in right field. Austin Jackson not as familiar. Kadire gets an extra 90 feet because Jackson did not play the ball as well, because he was going for the catch, didn't hold up soon enough to play the carom, and Michael got an extra 90 feet for Jim Thome.
Thome checks his swing and takes ball one. The Tigers shift for Thome and will concede a run here with the second baseman Guillen playing in short right field, Peralta playing on the first base side of second base, and Betamit midway between second and third. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Thomey's overall numbers, batting average wise, aren't all that great against Verlander, but he has homered against him 7 times in 43 at bats, hitting .256. Up and in at 97. So this is, I think we've already seen it. Verlander wants a strikeout here, and he was throwing 91, 92. Now you look at the fastball, and there it is, 97.
Yeah, and if he wants to throw Thomey up and preferably in, most likely. That's where we're seeing him start out, and you got to get it up there. If you're going to throw it up there, you got to throw it hard. Now this is the old Verlander as far as I've seen. The big difference between Verlander before this year and this year, you could get him to 2-0 and 3-1 and get a fastball that you can handle. He's been much better with location this year. Tonight, if you get him in 3-1, you got to get a cookie here. You got to hit it if you get it. There it was. And Coombe, that's exactly what we're talking about. Just a little bit long there. Of course, his swing is a little bit longer, but that's a little bit of that loop you were talking about.
Just a little bit. When his barrel starts pointing at the pitcher and it kind of gets a little long behind him,
right,
and then comes a guy throwing 96 is tough to catch up. Jimmy's going to be geared up for this heater for sure.
Popped up, it'll reach the seats.
You know, Roy, we've both faced a lot of guys that throw really hard. And, Dick, you've seen a lot of these guys. It's something when a guy's throwing 93, 94 in the second inning and then can hump up to 97 just whenever he wants.
And even more impressive, Coombe, when he can decide, when he's still throwing 97 in the 8th if he needs it.
Verlander trying to clear his cleats. Leading the league in strikeouts with 153. Looking for his first one here tonight in a key spot. Got him with a high fastball at 98 miles per hour.
Yeah, 98 up there is next to impossible. It's very, very difficult to hit a fastball at that height at 98 miles an hour. You just have to be so quick. It's so tough to get the big end of the bat out to the ball, as Ron Coomer was talking about. And that ball a little bit out of the zone, probably. I think that's probably ball 4. But it's hard to lay off that pitch with 2 strikes.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, it looks like it's going to be belt high, and next thing you know, you're swinging and it's chest high, and no chance.
For Valencia, the Tigers will bring the infield in. And he burns the outside corner at 97 for strike 1.
Whenever a guy was throwing this hard, as Justin Verlander is tonight, I tried to make my strike zone real small. I created a new strike zone for myself and got it really, really small. By that I mean I want the ball right here in this little 3-inch area. I didn't want to swing at that ball right there. I'm not going to hit that ball anyway, and so I might as well take it. I think it's a ball, but even if it's called a strike, I can't hit that pitch. So I don't want to swing at it. I want to get it hit until I get 2 strikes. I want every pitch to be like it's 3-1 and get very, very small in my strike zone.
Tough spot now for Valencia, behind in the count, 0-2. He's blocked by Avila, and it's 1-2.
Right there we can see the problem with this is hitting and pitching. That take that Danny had, looking for a fastball that's thrown that hard because you have to. You can't get off the fastball with 2 strikes, he'll throw it right by you, and you tend to want to fly out there open and early, and then if he throws you something else, boy, you're really, really vulnerable.
Valencia trying to get one to the outfield, score the first run. Checked his swing, but he went this time, and it's another strikeout for Verlander. And Valencia asking Adrian Johnson to at least appeal to the first base umpire. So 2 down. Kanayer still at third base.
Now watch, when you're looking for a fastball and start to get out and see how you open up so quickly that it's really hard. Now we'll see if he did in fact go.
I don't think he went.
You know, that's going to be a close call. I think he needs to ask for help there to the first base umpire. The first base umpire might have called it just because of how far his hands went. The bats sure stayed back.
See if Delman Young can deliver a 2-out hit. Checked his swing, ball 1. Young has the average up to 266. Breaking ball missing inside 2-0.
Make no mistake about it, too, Dick. Umpires know who's on the mound for both sides. They know when a strikeout guy is out there, and that right arm tends to fire up there a lot with strikeout pitchers on the mound.
See what Young gets on 2-0. Up and in fastball, and it's tapped foul.
You know, guys, to me, I was talking to Delman before the game, and you're always interested about guys' approaches when somebody can throw as hard as Verlander. I know it was always a buzz when we faced Randy Johnson. To me, one of the guys that this matchup really works in favor for, Delman Young. If he can have his short, quick swing and look to pull the ball like he does, this could be a good matchup.
Bounce to the right side. Guillen fields it. Throws to Cabrera, and the Twins strand Kadire at third after his leadoff triple. Minnesota Twins baseball is brought to you by Explore Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com to plan your next Minnesota vacation today. That's the Iron Range off-highway vehicle recreation area in Gilbert, Minnesota. The area was mined until 1981 and contains iron ore pits or stockpiles and tailings basins. You can ride up there regardless of your skill level. On to the third inning. Each team with a hit, each team with a leadoff hit, but the Twins got a triple and didn't score. Tigers got a leadoff single in the second. Here's Carlos Guillen. And Pavano delivers low, ball one. Verlander after the third out, checking with Adrian Johnson.
I have no idea what that's about.
Strike called, 1-1. Not the best matchup for Guillen. He is 0 for 17 in his career against Pavano. He'll be followed by Avila and Wilson Betemit.
With Carlos Guillen hitting seventh and Avila hitting eighth, just gives you an idea of how improved this Detroit and potent this Detroit Tiger lineup is. These guys are good hitters all the way through. Avila, an all-star this year, 10 home runs this first half of the season. It's a tough lineup for pitchers to get all the way through.
One and two. And now 2-2. Well, the Tigers, like the Twins, have been chasing the Indians. The difference is the Tigers have caught Cleveland. Cleveland got some more bad news today. Grady Sizemore had surgery, but he had hernia surgery. Great stop at first by Mauer. A wicked one hopper, and the Gold Glove catcher intercepted it.
What a terrific play. I've been so impressed with the athleticism that he has out there. Not that we didn't think he had that, but it's just not that easy to go out there. He gets a great jump on this. His body movement was so quick there. He saw the ball. You see him right there, the quick move off the ball. He saw that ball so well, and that's what I was a little bit concerned about, wondering how he would see the ball off the bat. He made some diving plays when I thought he was a little late. His first couple of games over there, that one was a double all the way, and he saw it early.
The ball hit so hard, you get a sense of his athleticism. He just reacted.
And exactly right. He reacted right at the ball. That's when you know that a guy's getting comfortable over there, seeing the ball off the bat.
1 strike to Avila. And of course, it was Avila making the all-star appearance behind the plate for the American League instead of Joe Mauer. Putting together a very impressive first half. The Tigers have kind of a curious situation here behind the plate, 1 and 2. Curious only in that they use their backup catcher, their other catcher, as their primary designated hitter. The Twins in the past would have Joe Mauer DHing occasionally, but Martinez, day in and day out, is their regular designated hitter. So Jim Leyland taking a bit of a risk more often than not. With both catchers entered into the game, one of them is a designated hitter. Avila lines a sharp single to center. That'll bring up Bet at MIN. Tomorrow night's another Lifetime Fitness Friday. The Twins hosting the Tigers. And if you have a ticket to tomorrow's game, you can log on to lifetimefitness.com/twins and get a complimentary 7-day pass to Lifetime Fitness. Call 800-33-TWINS to check on ticket availability for the upcoming game tomorrow night or any other Friday night at Target Field. Number 9 batter Wilson Betemit coming over from the Kansas City Royals for a couple of low-level minor leaguers. Tigers re-signing Brandon Inge to a 2-year deal in the offseason worth about $11 million, and Inge just didn't have it this year. He had mononucleosis, but he didn't have his hitting stroke. He was hitting well below 200. Betemit, an offensive player, jumps from last place to first place within the same division.
Yeah, nice one by Wilson Betemit. He's got to love that trade. I'd like to go back to what you were saying, Doug. I think you made a great point about Jim Leyland choosing to go with the catching situation that he has.
Change up, a swing and a miss.
Because obviously what he has decided is that if his catcher gets hurt and he has to lose his designated hitter as the backup catcher going to a position during a game, in his mind that's going to happen so much more infrequently than how he needs the extra players in the infield and outfield. That's what he's taken that gamble. Right. I mean, that's a conscious decision that he's made, because we know that most managers don't want to be in that situation with the catchers. If the regular catcher gets hurt, they lose the DH. But Jim Leyland obviously has said, nope, I have 2 infield outfielders on my bench. I've got an outfielder and a switch hitting infielder. I want those 4 guys and not an extra catcher.
Just off the inside corner, 2-2, and Pavano looks off in the distance. He wanted to come back inside and get a called third strike. He thought he hit the spot.
Yep, he wanted that pitch. It was a little inside, but that is still a good pitch to go 2-2, because again, the hitter has got to be impressed with him coming in. It opens up other stuff. There's a little change up on the outside. That's exactly what a pitcher wants to do. That's great pitching right there.
Nishioka with the catch out, number 2. And Austin Jackson coming to the plate this week in Fox Saturday Baseball. The Tigers and the Twins in Game 3. This week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 3 o'clock Central. On Fox, Rod Allen, the Tiger analyst, and Dick Stockton will be bringing you that game. Roy Smalley and Anthony LaPanta will be bringing you the game tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. I'm heading out to Cooperstown tomorrow. Austin Jackson hit a ground ball to Nishioka to start the ball game. Strike 1.
This inning, we're seeing Carl Pavano really pitch like Carl Pavano. And I mentioned the 2 pitches to Benamid. He comes inside hard, just misses, and then gets him out with a changeup away. Here he started with 2 sliders on the outside part of the plate. Austin Jackson saw 2 fastballs his first time up. Now he's seen 2 sliders. Now he's not really sure what he's going to get. And that's really what a pitcher wants, is to create that indecision and the uncertainty in the hitter's mind.
Down and away, 1-2. Jackson with over 100 strikeouts on the season. Adam Dunn leading the world with 124. Change up, foul back. Mark Reynolds typically, in fact, he holds the record for strikeouts in a season over in the National League. He has 107. One and 2 to Austin Jackson. And Butera will go to the mound.
One of the things that I think Drew Butera does really well, he goes to the mound for a few reasons. This particular one is, let's be sure we know exactly what we want to throw here. Let's make sure we're on the same page, what pitch we want and where we want to throw it. He'll go out there when he sees a pitcher all of a sudden lose command of his pitches, lose the strike zone a little bit. He'll go out there and talk, but this was about what do we want to get done here.
High fastball takes care of the inning. The inning with Carl Pavano picking up his first strikeout of the game. He's got 3 shutout innings against the Tigers in the series opener. Soup.com/baseball. Greta Johnson from Red Wing wondering whether we think Justin Verlander is the most dominant starting pitcher in the game today.
I can't say most dominant in the game. There are so many good pitchers. They're calling it the year of the pitcher. These are the guys that I would say: Sabathia, Halladay, Verlander. I think Jared Weaver would be in the mix. Cliff Lee would be in the mix. Dominant, Halladay, Sabathia, and Verlander. Probably those top 3 just because of the sheer velocity and the quality of the stuff that they have.
Nishioka takes a strike on the outside corner. Guy in Seattle's awfully good. Felix Hernandez,
Yeah, absolutely.
and well, you look at the top 10 list in the American League: Weaver, Beckett, Verlander, Gio Gonzalez. Back to the mound, an easy play for Verlander, 1 away. James Shields, Masterson, we saw him absolutely dominate the Twins lineup.
I've always loved Masterson's stuff. I couldn't figure out why he wasn't pitching more games against the rest of the league. And as he did against the Twins the other night. That was a dominant performance.
Maybe the most dominant pitcher in the National League used to be a Tiger, Jair Jurgens, having a Cy Young type of year for the Braves. Here's Drew Butera fouling it away. People forget that he started with the Tiger organization and came over for shortstop Edgar Renteria, who, I mean, the Tigers bought out the last year of his contract. That one didn't work out too well for Dave Dombrowski. 2 strikes.
We're seeing a pitcher really mature, a guy with great stuff, figure out how he wants to pitch. He's able to throw the ball where he wants to a lot better now. But 91, 92 this inning. Remember, we had 97, 98 to Jim Thome when he had to have a strikeout. Now he's back to 91, 92. Keep the energy level down. Throw it where you want to. Only use the 97, 98 when you really, really have to. Tried to get a strikeout of Drew right there and threw it 95 the pitch before.
Inside. Well, they say what he does is, you know, he's aware of when he's going to come out of the game. If the 7th inning is his last inning, he empties the tank, and then he'll hit 100 miles per hour in his last inning of work sometime. 2-2. Popped up. Cabrera coming into the infield grass, and now in the dirt makes the catch, out number 2. Saturday, the Twins will host the Tigers, and it's the second DQ cap night of the season. Always one of the most popular promotional items of the summer. And the first 20,000 fans at the ballpark will get them. First pitch Sunday is at 3:10. To check on ticket availability, call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. 2 gone. Here's Ben Revere. Bounced to short his first time up. Twins have actually lost 9 straight games to Detroit going back to last year. 0-5 this year, and again, those 5 games make up the margin between Tigers and the Twins. If the Twins had won just one of those games, it would be a 3-game separation.
Talk so much about how your winning percentage in the division decides the division. So far, the Tigers have got the edge, as you say. In '87, when we won the American League West, we did so because we thumped the A's, the Oakland A's,
yeah,
who finished in 2nd place. Other than those head-to-head matchups, they beat us against the rest of the league.
Tapper foul. Well, why have the Twins run past the White Sox in the second half the last couple of years? Because they have their number. There's no other way to put it.
Right.
It could go the other way just as quickly, but the last couple of years the Twins have dominated the White Sox.
They absolutely have, and you can't finish ahead of a team in your division that dominates you. You just can't do it.
1-2, and now 2-2. Well, pitch count for Pavano and Verlander will be important in determining how long they'll be out there. 41 pitches now for Verlander. See, the Twins have a chance to pull into a 3rd-place tie with Chicago if they can win. This one driven to left field. Bosch makes the catch, and Verlander's retired 6 men in a row. No score here at Target Field through 3.
darlings, my grandchildren, Sierra and Savannah, and my son and his family. I will circle them. I think.
You got a funny looking circle.
Well, that's because that's what it.
Oh, okay.
That's what it. That's what swells up. My heart swells up when I see those guys.
You can get involved in our broadcast tonight. Let us know who you think will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234-234. Brennan Bosch taps it foul. 1 strike.
We're talking earlier about how important it is to get ahead, but also get ahead with different pitches. Pavano starting Bosch off with a little change up there or a slower slider, something breaking down and in and slow.
And another foul. And Pavano, early work here in the 4th inning with 50 pitches under his belt.
And 37 strikes, kind of a classic outing so far for Carl. He's throwing a lot of strikes. He's throwing a lot of different pitches. Working the ball inside and outside, up and back.
And another foul back.
You see those first 2 changeups and then that high fastball, and it looks 4 or 5 miles an hour faster to a hitter when you get kind of lulled into the 81, 82 miles an hour. Then you see 91 and it looks, or even 89, it looks an awful lot faster.
2 strikes to Bosch. And another foul. Well, we talk about, particularly when Bert's up here, the desired strike to ball ratio of 2-to-1, and now Pavano's got a 3-to-1 ratio going.
Yeah, he's really good in that capacity. And I just noticed Drew Butera did something that last pitch. It was great. I love this. Called a changeup and then tapped his glove down on the plate. Right down, get it down here. We want it down low.
Nothing but fouls in this plate appearance by Bosch. Remember, he had that long plate appearance with Pavano in the 1st inning. A lot of foul balls, and finally Pavano got him on a deep fly ball to right.
I think that's one of the improvements that Brennan Bosch has made this year, is he is able to fight off tough pitches, take at bats longer into the counts with foul balls, and get something he can hit.
And that hit him on an 0-2 pitch. Bosch is hit by one down around the foot area. So all those foul balls paid off painfully. He's at first base leading off the 4th.
Yeah, he's supposed to get out of the way of that ball. He just kind of stayed rooted to the ground. And not that he was trying to get hit. Nobody wants to get hit in the foot, but usually, Bert says make the hitters move their feet. Well, he's trying to. He just wouldn't move it. Wouldn't right in the toe.
So Bosch at first, and now Ordonez. And Pavano delivers strike 1. Ordonez with a pop-up behind first base. Mauer caught it to end the 1st inning. Pavano's gotten 1 ground ball double play off the bat of Victor Martinez. We'll try to get another one here. Bosch takes off on a hit and run and may have kept the Tigers out of a double play. Valencia across, 1 down. We'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Break down a swing for us.
We're going to see one of the best swings in baseball. It starts with his strength, but it's all about mechanics. Look when he lands where his hands are back, and look how square to the line of flight of the ball he is in the front side, which allows him to throw his hands inside and extend his right arm at the ball. He's trying to hit that ball back through the middle, back through the ball, and with that strength, that is just perfect hitting mechanics right there. Just beautiful.
Man in scoring position for Cabrera here, and Pavano misses outside, ball 1. You get a swing like that, and I guess Mauer's would be a different. There's more power generated by Cabrera than Mauer, but still a classic swing. You slow it down, and an idiot like me doesn't know where to look. And for some reason, when Cabrera, I've been looking at his shoulders and the turn of his shoulders, and he's a big, strong guy, but it just seems like, my gosh, there's so much power in his upper body, though, too.
He's strong all over the place, but it all starts in his lower body. His legs are in such good position, and the torque that you get by turning your hips into a square foot front side, if you lose what they call lose your hip or lose your front foot to spin open, the bat slows down, you lose all your power. But when your hips stay relatively closed and you start turning them into that square front side, it just generates so much power.
3-1 to Cabrera.
And you can see when a guy has this his mechanics are this good and he's so strong that you set up to hit to center field, then the speed of the pitch and the location of the pitch determine where he swings, where he hits the ball. He's not trying to hit it anywhere. He's trying to hit it back up the middle and let the pitch determine where it goes.
And he ends up drawing a walk, and Pavano was not going to give in. He was going to work the fringes of the strike zone, and if he walked him, so be it.
That's the other good thing about good hitters. They recognize that they are good hitters because they get good pitches to hit. And if you can't be a good hitter on a bad ball, so you just have to be able to take your walk and let your teammate pick up the team behind you.
Not an intentional walk, but a intentional walk. First base filled, and now here's Victor Martinez.
And I think that's a great semi-intentional walk. I mean, you're going to have to pick your poison. Let's get a guy on first base where you have a chance to get out of it with double play. This guy's a good hitter too, but you got a chance to get a ground ball and get out.
And a base hit to right field. Bosch will go to third, and he'll be held there. Kadyr's got a reputable arm, and so the Tigers fill the bases with one out, and that'll bring up Johnny Peralta.
And it's a base hit, but he didn't hit the ball hard. It was a good pitch by Pavano. He got him out in front. Looked like a little change up. The difference there, it was a good pitch, just high. If that ball's down, he gets a ground ball out of him. But then just because it was about 1.5 feet too high, that enabled Martinez to get the ball to the outfield.
So they're loaded up. First hit of the inning, and here's Peralta, who bounced to short his first time up. Pavano got a lot of ground ball outs early on. Now he's in a bit of a jam here. Bases loaded with one out. And he drives it to right, a base hit. One run will score. And the bases are still loaded. So Peralta lines the first pitch to right field as Martinez did. And the Tigers get the first lead.
Good hitting by Peralta. Gets a fastball in the middle of the plate, not where Carl wanted it, but he went up there trying not to pull the ball. He's going to hit the ball the other way, just like we saw Danny Valencia yesterday with the bases loaded, only one out. You don't need to pull the ball. Keep the ball in the center of the diamond or to the other side. There's a lot of hits. There's sacrifice flies. There's a lot of stuff out there in the center and opposite field where if you're trying to pull the ball, there's a lot of outs a lot of times.
With one run on the board already, Verlander, the pitching opponent, key at bat here now. Carlos Guillen takes a ball outside. Guillen hit a smash that Mauer speared and turned into an out. Guillen now 0 for 18 against Pavano, and Pavano really needs to get him here with only one out on the board. Back to Pavano, to second, to first, double play. Pavano looked at first like he wanted to come home, but he went to second, ended up getting the double play, and the Tigers get one, but Pavano gets out of a big mess. Sports North is brought to you by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. And by AT&T. Well, the Tigers get the first run, but they could have had a lot more. The Twins had a chance to score, didn't get it done in the second inning, and we move to the bottom of the fourth inning. Peralta a little frustrated. Tigers had Pavano on the ropes, but he ended up starting the second double play of the ball game. And here's Alexi Casilla to start the fourth. And a first pitch strike. Casilla bounced to second his first time up. And strike two. It just seems so easy. It's an easy 92, and then, you know, when the Twins are threatening to score, that's when you get the high octane stuff.
It really is a sign of a maturing pitcher. Most guys with this kind of stuff, they're able to throw this hard. They come up and early in their careers, and they start in the first inning, and they start airing it out and throw as hard as they can for as long as they can. And he has learned that 93 can get hitters out with that other stuff to go along with it, and that allows him to have 97, 98 when he needs it.
Foul back. Tigers have a dominant number one pitcher, but ultimately what they will perhaps succumb to is the fact that they've got some holes in the back end of their rotation. Strike three. Came back inside with a fastball to get a called third strike. Here's a double play that ended the top of the inning.
Now, ball, one hopper back to the pitcher, you got to come home, right? But Carl goes to second, and I think he did that because he had to turn around to find the ball. He's going, oh my goodness, that's not the way it was supposed to happen. If he had caught that ball cleanly, I'm sure he'd have come home. Drew Butera jumped out, was calling for the throw. But when he had to sort of turn towards second base to find the handle on the ball, he wanted two out of the play. He didn't want to just stop the run at home. It was a gamble. It was a big gamble, but he got it. He got it back in time to get two.
1-0 to Mauer. Swing and a miss. Ron Coomer, your view on the double play?
Well, sometimes you get a ground ball, and Roy knows this. The ball will kind of dictate where you're going to end up throwing it if you have multiple choices. Right. And I think for Pavy, it was a shot, save, rebound, and now a double play.
Right.
And it just kind of pushed him to throw the ball to second base.
That's exactly right, Coom. He was, he had, and I thought what was interesting, Coom, was that he wanted out of that inning right there on that pitch, you know, and so he wasn't going to just settle for where he was supposed to throw the ball home. He was going towards second base, so doggone it, I'm going to get two out that way.
1-2 to Mauer, with Verlander delivering a slow hook for a called second strike. And fouled at the plate. I'm talking about the Tiger rotation, and certainly Verlander, a legitimate number one type of guy. But for the Tigers, you know, they may have someone like Charlie Furbush starting as many games the rest of the way as Justin Verlander. They're trying to bolster their rotation through trades.
Well, starting pitching is it, and you're right. If there's an Achilles heel that I see so far, it's that the rest of the rotation is not quite keeping pace, and have not. The rest of the rotation 2 through 5 has not pitched as well as the Twins 2 through 5 in this since the Twins were. How far did you say? 13 games behind Detroit?
Well, we were 16 and a half games behind Cleveland.
Right.
And a dozen behind Detroit. 2-2 to Mauer, trying to get a board here with one out in the fourth. Tap foul. You know, and the Twins rotation is the polar opposite. They may not have, they don't have a dominant number one like Verlander, but 1 through 5, provided they all stay healthy, are going to give the Twins, over the course of the regular season, you would think, the edge over Detroit.
And give the, absolutely, you make a great point, and all you want is to have your starting pitcher give you a chance to win every time out there. That doesn't have to be dominant, but just keep you in the game and give you a chance, and that's what these guys have done, the starting pitchers for the Twins.
Mauer having a long battle with Verlander. It's a full count with Cuddyer on deck.
This is some of the great fun of watching Major League Baseball right here. A guy like Justin Verlander and that stuff against a hitter like Joe Mauer, who can hit just about anything he throws up there, depending on where it is and what it is. This is just a great battle.
Lace to left.
I love it. I just love it.
Well, it's like an all-star game. You have at-bats like this all the time throughout the game, but you know, you've got an all-star pitcher in Verlander, a perennial all-star in Mauer. So it is interesting to see who's going to win this particular battle.
Well, battle till you get a ball in the middle of the plate that you can just hit the ball the other way. Look at this. His head stays so still. The big end of the bat stays in the hitting zone a long time, and he just lines the ball left. How many times have we seen that? But this is what you got to do against a guy like Verlander. You have to either take or foul off the tough pitches. He's going to give you one to hit. You got to hit it when you get it.
Kadire tripled off the right center field fence, leading off the second inning, but then Verlander went strikeout, ground out, and Kadire never scored. Up high, ball one.
Coom, you know how this is. I know when I went up there to the plate, even against the really good pitchers, you're going to get at least one pitch every time up that you could handle. There are a lot of pitches you couldn't, but you're going to get one you could handle. And the better stuff they had, the more imperative it was when you got it, you had to hit it.
You said it earlier, too, at the Kadire at bat. You get that hanging slider,
yep.
You better put it in play and put it in play hard. To me, Verlander has kind of been odd with his pitch selection. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls. The last at bat to Joe, a lot of changeups. Joe fouling him off, but then waiting for that hard stuff away, which we know is, you know, Joe's forte. If he gets hard and gets it away, that's like shooting a free throw for him to get in that hole.
Absolutely. That ball, that fastball belt high, tailing middle to out, that's a 600 average for Joe, I think, on that pitch.
At first base, Joe seems to be adapting well. It hasn't affected his hitting. He's hitting nearly 600 as a first baseman. 2-0 to Kadire and a called strike.
Coom was talking about how many breaking balls Verlander is throwing, off-speed stuff, things other than fastballs. We were talking, Dick, with Rod Allen, the Detroit color analyst today, and he said Verlander's about, Coom, you're not going to believe this, he's been about 52% fastballs, 48% everything else.
And Kadire with a fastball fouled back, 2-2.
Roy, to me it was amazing always. You know, years ago we'd face Randy Johnson, and if you stayed on his fastball early in the game, the first couple innings, and he didn't get a lot of strikeouts, all of a sudden he wanted to try to trick you all the time. Here the guy's throwing 100, and he wants to trick you with breaking balls and changeups. And right here you see the exact same thing with Verlander. He goes up against Joe. Here's a guy throwing 100. He's changeup, breaking ball, changeup, and then finally a fastball. If I threw 100, it'd be tough for them to have me throw anything but.
You're not kidding.
A high fly to deep center field. Jackson near the warning track makes the catch. Mauer will threaten to tag but not advance. 2 away. That's the base running play that the Twins did not make a few games ago. Matt Tolbert, the pinch runner, did not take the deep fly ball that was caught a little bit deeper in center field and advance to second base.
Kind of surprised Joe didn't go. He and Jerry White made the right decision. The ball's going to stay in the ballpark. Get back there and tag. Cabrera said something that Jerry White thinks is really funny. I don't know what Cabrera's talking about, but Jerry likes it, and so does Joe. But
there's
I don't think
a lot of hits over there, Roy. Jerry isn't one of them.
Yeah. I think maybe Jerry made the joke. Maybe he went up and said, "How did you guys do that?"
Here's Tony. Breaking ball. It hits the outside corner. Strike one.
And how about that? I get blown away. If I'm Jim Thome, I get blown away on 98-mile-an-hour fastballs the first time up, and now he starts with the breaking ball. That's why it's kind of tough to hit in the big leagues.
Yeah, I'm talking to Jimmy before the game today in BP. He's looking dead red all night long.
Yep.
1-1.
The one thing, Coom, that I would say, and I agree with looking dead red, but I'll go back to my comment about when I used to hit against guys that threw this hard. If I was going to look fastball, I wanted to get real small. I didn't want anything, even think about swinging at a ball above belt high. Everything was going to be down right in the middle of the plate and about mid-thigh high, and I was going to keep it right there. I think that's what Jimmy has to do, too.
Another breaking ball. He's thrown them 3 in a row. It's 1-2. But hey, if you're going to face a guy 4 times and you need to get him out 4 times, why wouldn't you change the pattern?
No, I think there's nothing at all wrong with that. He's got such great breaking stuff. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Now it's going to make this 97-mile-an-hour fastball look like 107.
And
well, I missed it by a mile per hour.
Tomey took it for ball 2. Very similar to the pitch he swung through for strike 3 in the second inning.
You might as well not swing at the ball up there and hope it's called a ball. You're not going to hit it 98 up there. Very few guys can do that.
And now inside, it's 3-2. Valencia on deck, and with 2 outs now, Mauer can take off from first early. So it was a 3-2 fastball, letter high. And Tomey swung through it for a big strikeout in the second inning.
Yeah, I think he's going to get another fastball. I hope he throws it down in the strike zone. I hope if it's high, Jimmy takes it.
Swung through it, and Verlander has struck out Tomey twice with men on base. As we head to the 5th, it's 1-0 Detroit. And I suppose there is some of that too. The luck's changed for the Twins. They play much better baseball, but they certainly are putting some heat on the teams ahead of them in the division. Robbie and Smikowski, Ron Coomer, Roy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blatnoven. Bert's in Cooperstown getting ready for a very big weekend.
And please wish him in person, Dick. Wish him the best from all of us.
I will do that.
And how proud of him and happy we are for him. That's going to be a great, great time for him. Well deserved.
Alex Avila will lead off the 5th. Wilson Betemit will hit second, then Austin Jackson. Pavano hit the first batter he faced after Brennan Bosch fouled off, I think, 6 pitches in that 4th inning at bat, and then Bosch came around to score the only run of the game so far. 2-0. Little dribbler up the line, easy play for Mauer. 1 down. Tigers are there on top of the division, but they've been there before. Window Concepts window of opportunity shows you that the Tigers typically in the second half have tailed off dramatically under Jim Leland.
And hard to imagine. Jimmy Leland, one of my favorite managers. He's the kind of guy that you would think would keep the Tigers in it and actually have them playing better in the second half, much like Ron Gardner has had in his tenure with the Twins.
And he's been asked about it. Players have been asked about it. He knows it's out there, and he says, hey, the only way we can change it is to play better baseball in the second half.
Right.
I mean, there's no convoluted answer. You just need to go out and play better baseball.
Right.
2 strikes to Wilson Pettimete.
And it's going to be hard for them to have it be any different this year, Dick, if things don't change in the starting rotation the way we've, as we were talking about last inning.
Fouled away. You know, the most dramatic turnaround came just 2 years ago in the first week of September. Tigers had a 7.5 game lead over the Twins, and in fact, in that last week, the Twins had a 3-game series in Detroit, and in the final game of that series, the Tigers had a chance to clinch. They didn't. The bouncer right side, and it'll leak through for a 1-out single. And that was what forced game 163, the infamous game between Detroit and Minnesota.
And I remember as we were talking during that stretch in September, Anthony LaPanta and Ron Coomer and all of us talking about, well, the Twins are just about out of it now, right? And I kept saying, no, this is baseball. You don't know what the other team's going to do. And you know, it ain't over till it's over. Yogi was right. And the Tigers just could not put it away. They could not win that extra game or two they needed to win. And the Twins kept winning.
Remember, as we were packing up to leave Detroit, the White Sox were already there, and I had, just by coincidence, had breakfast with Joey Cora, coach for the White Sox, and he says, hey, we're going to win at least 2 here. Don't worry about it. And they ended up sweeping the Tigers and forced game 163 because the Twins had the home field advantage at the Dome. It was, in terms of regular season games, which it technically was, it was maybe the most memorable regular season game ever to be played in that ballpark.
Or any ballpark.
Yeah.
That was one sensational ball game.
And I still believe that all this talk about adding more playoff teams and having a preliminary playoff round, having a couple of wild cards, maybe in a best of 3, I think that's a direct result of those 2 dramatic games the Twins played in back-to-back seasons, the one in Chicago and the one at home against Detroit.
Both of them phenomenal games with all the chips on the line. That just doesn't get any better than that. And you talk about the White Sox beating sweeping the Tigers there at the end of the season. When you're out of it, that gives you something to play for, you know, and that's really fun. I've been on those teams, and you really bearing down trying to beat somebody, not because you have a favorite who you want to win, but just because it's a meaningful game, and you can make names for yourselves around the league and around baseball by playing good teams tough down the stretch.
1-1 with Ordonez hoping for a chance here in the 5th inning. Well, the Twins have been on the other end of that, though, too. The year before, they had to go to Chicago to play game 163 because the Royals came to Minnesota and won 2 out of 3. And the Royals hadn't played a meaningful game since Memorial Day.
And it's exactly what we're talking about. The games don't always go the way you expect them to go. All the Twins had to do was win a game there, an extra game they couldn't do, or they didn't do it.
Poke foul, and now Jackson having a long battle with Pavano. And that might determine how long Pavano goes as opposed to Verlander. Verlander has a lot of swing and miss pitches, and the Tigers are wasting a lot of Pavano's 2-strike pitches here.
Yeah, great observation. Carl doesn't quite have the strikeout or put away stuff that Verlander does, obviously, but he's so crafty, and he'll let you get yourself out just like that. It looked to me like Austin Jackson was trying to hit the ball the other way, trying to wait on it, trying to protect against these kinds of pitches, and then all of a sudden he just couldn't wait any longer.
Take the Twins with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv and see every Twins game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit twinsbaseball.com to order. Get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. In-market blackout rules apply. Pitches up high to Bosch. Bosch has had 2 lengthy plate appearances against Pavano. He's thrown 78 pitches, and he's thrown over 20 of them in the 2 plate appearances to Bosch. Pulled foul, 1-1.
Another changeup there, good pitch, got Bosch out in front of it. You know, a lot of times some pitches are just show me pitches. Throws a high fastball, good left-handed fastball hitting guy, good fastball hitter. Think, hey, I might get a fastball this time. Then he throws a changeup off the fastball. Now he's 1-1.
Inside, 2-1.
And I love that pitch right there. Pitch inside. There's another situation where you say, as a hitter, this guy he's really going to pitch me inside, and that makes me get a little bit in a hurry. Gives Carl an opportunity to throw the ball outside, throw a breaking ball, throw a changeup.
And one hit high and very deep to right center. And Brennan Bosch has hit a home run to make it 3-0 Detroit.
That's real good hitting. I'm just going to say you could throw him a changeup after coming in with a fastball, but Brennan saw that ball real well, waited back. I think the ball was just a little bit high, just like the changeup that Martinez hit to right field. Here's the change. Not a bad pitch, but a little high to a good low ball hitter. Just a little bit. Left-handers like the ball down there.
And line to Valencia, but the third out comes one pitch too late. The Tigers get a 2 spot in the 5th. Brennan Bosch with a 2-run home run.
The Minnesota State Lottery Winner Circle with $100 here in Minnesota State Lottery tickets for Arnie and Harriet, Roy and Dick. They are celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary. 2 kids, 7 grandkids, and now they're here at the ballpark. How are you enjoying yourself tonight, Arnie?
Just a perfect night for a ball game.
It is a perfect night. And Harriet, you remember Roy Smalley as a baseball player, right?
Yes.
What do you remember about him? He's in the booth right now and he's circling you.
I just remember he was good and that he was related to the manager.
How about that? How about that for knowing her Twins history right there,
That's
Roy?
right.
That's pretty
Gene
good.
Huck is who she's referring to.
Absolutely. I guess I would have preferred to be remembered for a little bit more than that.
You played for your uncle Gene Moss?
And was proud to do it.
Yeah.
He was wonderful.
Well, now Verlander's got a 3-0 lead as the Twins hit here in the bottom of the 5th. Valencia swings through a breaking ball, 1 strike. Down and in, 1-1. Valencia, the hitting hero in the last 2 games against Cleveland. A walk-off single 2 nights ago, and then a big base hit that gave the Twins the lead in the 8th inning yesterday. And a bouncer foul. Steve Little will pick it up.
Roy, we've watched this game go on, and Verlander can really hump it up there. We know that. To me, one of the tough things to do if you're a hitter with a lot of movement like Danny, where he's got a lot of movement with his hands and does a lot, really makes it tough to catch up with that heater.
Yeah, it
unlike
sure does.
that one.
Valencia to center. Jackson with the catch, 1 away.
you're right, Coom. There are a lot of moving parts in Danny's swing, and the timing's got to be really, really good to catch up to a fastball like this. But you see, he will bring his hands down and back up and kind of try to get around the ball. That's been a little bit of the problem, Coom. I know that you agree with me that Danny's got the ability to hit the ball a long way to left field, but he sets up, so far this year, he's set up so many times to try and hit it that way, and hasn't trusted himself to stay in the center of the diamond enough times. That's why his average is down a bit. But you got to give him credit, boy, when he has driven in a lot of huge runs. He's found a way in big situations to get the job done.
Well, the other day he hit the ball the other way for a base hit to help us win a ball game. And that was one of his best at-bats I've seen him have. He's hit some home runs, but you talk about kind of getting your at-bat under control for what the team needs and what you need at the moment. That base hit to right field might have been his best at-bat of his young big league career.
Couldn't agree with you more. I talked about it yesterday as it was developing.
2-0 to Delman Young. A swing and a miss. Maybe a foul tip that got Avila. Hey, let me ask you guys this, because you both were notable hitters. You both went to all-star games. You look at Verlander and his stuff, and I would think this would be a perfect example of somebody stepping into the box and just being a guess hitter, picking one pitch, not trying to defend against 2 or 3, and then hope you pick the right spot that the one pitch you pick is coming into.
Well, it's absolutely right. I believe against a guy like this, you got to get on his fastball and get it and just stay on it until you get to 2 strikes and try to hope you get one in the middle of the plate. What do you think, Bill?
I agree, and I think Hall of Fame hitter Jim Thome said the same thing. To me, the point that you made about picking a spot and shrinking your strike zone is very important to me. I really wanted my hands in a spot and just have them go down to the ball. That was the important thing when a guy threw real hard. I wanted my hands to have very little movement and just fire straight down and be as short and quick to the ball as I can, because the pitcher is going to provide all the power for it.
There, Delman Young anticipating a fastball, got one at 96 miles per hour and pulled it behind the third base coach. 3-2 now.
That's what we were talking about earlier. He needs to get his hands out there and pull.
Strike him out, 2 down. Twins with just a couple of hits. Mauer's triple off the fence in center, or a Kadires triple, and Mauer's single with 1 out in the 4th. AT&T trivia question: who was the last Detroit pitcher to win the American League Cy Young Award? I mentioned at the outset that Verlander may win 20 games this year. He's got a dozen wins. Nishioka takes a strike. Tigers have not had a 20-game winner in 20 years. Bill Gullickson back in '91 won 20 games. They've had a 20-game loser since they've had a 20-game winner. Mike Maroth a few years ago. 1-1. Well, who's your guess on the Tigers Cy Young Award win?
Well, did Jack win one? I can't remember if.
I'm going to go Willie Hernandez.
Well, you're right. I know he did win as a reliever.
He won an MVP in '84. So Verlander comes back after the Tigers get him a couple of runs and has a 1-2-3 pitch.
Well, humidity down for tonight's game, but coming right back up for tomorrow's game out ahead of an approaching front. That's also going to be providing the threat for a shower or thunderstorm around with the first pitch temperature at 84.
And before the game, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety honored DWI All-Star team members before the game. They've been kept very busy here during a couple of summertime holidays, and we thank them for their service. Carl Pavano gave up a run in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and now Miguel Cabrera is standing in the box starting the 6th.
There's a lot of excitement for me every time this guy steps in the box. There's tension and excitement. You just never know what might happen.
That's a fair ball, and Cabrera will get a hit, and it'll be an extra base hit. Earlier this year, just a few weeks ago, in fact, he got his 1,500th hit. He's hit over 250 home runs. If he continues to play at this level, he appears to be headed for the Hall of Fame.
See, again, he stays in center field, and then the ball being inside, he just fires his hands at the ball. And that's, you really hit with your hands and your arms. Your body needs to stay parallel line of flight of the ball. Your front foot really square, hitting back out through the baseball, not around it. And then let the pitch dictate where it goes. When you're that quick and that strong, you can do it. It's easier said than done. And it's a lot easier for guys with that kind of strength and that kind of talent to do it, but his mechanics are so good that to go with that strength that he's very, very difficult to get out.
And Martinez again on the first pitch, singles to right field. Cabrera will be held. Mauer scoops up the throw. So Martinez didn't want to wait around. He bounced into a double play in the 2nd, and in the 4th he served the first pitch into right field, and he's done it again here in the 6th.
Ball outside off the outside corner. He just reaches out, hits it off the end of the bat, didn't hit it hard. Again, the ball a little bit higher than ideal even when hitters don't make the best contact. If it's up mid-thigh to belt high, you get a chance of the ball getting to the outfield rather than going to an infielder. It's just it's such a fine line, that location for a pitcher. A lot of times the ball will be outside corner or down. You think, gosh, that was good, wasn't it? But that's where the changeup needs to be, right down there. That's where he was trying to throw when Brennan Bosch hit the home run, and it was down. It was just above knee high. But for a changeup to a hitter like Bosch, for example, the ball needs to be down. A changeup needs to be down on the ground.
Infield halfway in here. Peralta swings and misses 1-1. All right. So what's the play here with the ground ball to Nishioka?
Well, he's going to where he's playing right. If he can get 2, they're going to get 2. That depth right there says to me that if we can get 2, we're going to get it. If it's hit slowly, we're coming to the plate.
All right. Assuming that Cabrera is going to try to score to take out the possibility of a double play.
Right. And for the runner, what the runner will do is if it's hit hard, he'll go. If it's hit easy and they can only get one someplace, he will stay. You don't want to be the only out that they get at the plate.
2-2. Phil Dumatre warming up in the Twins bullpen, with the Tigers having some success against Pavano here in the middle innings. Fouled back. Pavano has only retired 5 of the last 13 batters.
This is a good lineup. There's no rest through the 7 or 8 guys, and if you're not just real spot on with your location, it's going to be tough.
Bounce foul. You know, I'm looking at this Tiger lineup, and it seems to be a lineup with interlocking parts. One guy hitting in front of or behind a guy for a reason. And of course, that's what the Twins hope to get to tomorrow. Perhaps Jason Kubel will come back, and then eventually Denard Span, Justin Morneau. You'd like to get to that point, I think, where the Tigers are right now.
That's just a great point, Dick, because people don't realize how much you lose when just one of those cogs is not in there, and the Twins have had at least 3 all season long not in there. no Justin and no Jason Kubel and no Denard Span right now. That's a huge difference. One cog the Tigers didn't realize they were going to have as significantly as they've had this year is this guy at the plate, Johnny Peralta. He has been absolutely terrific. And you figure, okay, Cabrera's he's a stud, and Victor Martinez got a chance to protect him, but Peralta's done a wonderful job behind those two.
Boy, how many times have the Tigers fouled off a 2-strike pitch? Now this is a situation where Pavano would love to get a strikeout, and it seems so easy for Verlander. He's been in a couple of situations where he's wanted a strikeout and been able to get it. You'd like to get one here, and Peralta keeps fighting off 2-strike pitches. Another 2-2. And finally a ball hit hard into the left field corner. Cabrera will score. Victor Martinez is going to try for third, and Peralta's in with a double. Another great at bat for the veteran Peralta. And the first 3 batters here in the 6th collect hits for Detroit.
You know, you just have to give credit where credit's due sometimes. When guys are good hitters and have good at bats, I mean, that was just a great example. He finally got a ball right in the middle of the plate. I mean, he's not going to miss that pitch too much. You can't really fault Carl Pavano. You can't throw the ball where you want to throw it every time. He made some great pitches to Peralta. Johnny kept fouling them off. They were strikeout pitches. They were weak ground ball pitches, but Peralta fouled them off and finally got a pitch he could handle and drove it down the left field line.
Infield in. Guillen swings and misses. Guillen 0 for 2. Now 0 for 19 against Pavano. And the Twins already behind here 4-0. Can ill afford Guillen driving in another run or two.
Hitting becomes so contagious too, and it's not just because everybody's getting hits, but it's in the batting cage and in batting practice, watching these professional hitters hit.
That's hit to left and hit fairly well. Young backpedaling, making the catch, tagging from third and scoring is Martinez, and it's 5-0. So no hit for Guillen, but he gets the job done with a sacrifice fly. And the Tigers had a run in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 2 so far here in the 6th.
Just to finish that thought, I mean, as you see the Tiger guys high-fiving each other down there, it gets so contagious when you see professional hitters doing what they do. Cabrera and Victor Martinez. Johnny Peralta comes over, and he wants to be a part of that. He's got a lot of talent to hit. He watches what those guys do. He watches how they take batting practice. He watches how they fight off tough pitches. Now he's involved. Brendan Bosch is better this year for the same kinds of reasons.
Check swing, called strike to Oviedo. Pavano approaching 100 pitches here, trying to get through the 6th inning with no further damage. I'll say this because you're here and the guy who normally sits in that chair is not here. There's still a place in this game for run scoring, isn't it? It's not all about pitching.
Well, you know, it is all about pitching, but it's about how hitters approach that pitching also, you know, and I know that Bert would agree with that assessment. And even though he does tend to think it's all about pitching, what it's about is hitters getting a pitch that they can finally handle, and that's what we're seeing tonight. Carl Pavano has not pitched badly. He's pitched against a really, really good hitting lineup that has spoiled some good pitches that he's made. And let's face it, you can't throw the ball where you want to all the time, and these guys haven't missed it. When it hasn't been perfect, they haven't missed it. You got to give them credit for that.
That's a 2-1 pitch that Avila fouled.
It's so easy to sit up here and say, you know, he's got to get that ball down, or that ball's in the middle of the plate, or, you know, and I'm sure that Carl is going to say that at the end of tonight when asked about his performance. He's going to say, well, I threw too many balls in the middle of the plate, but he threw an awful lot of good pitches too that were spoiled. And oftentimes hitters miss those pitches that are thrown in the middle of the plate, and these guys just didn't do it tonight.
That foul, another 2-strike foul. Well, other than Austin Jackson, I'm sure there have been. I just can't recall a Detroit batter swinging and missing.
There haven't been a whole lot of swings and misses. That's for sure. Especially not with 2 strikes.
2-2 to Avila. Fly ball center field. Revere calling for it. Young backs him up. Out number 2. And Wilson Betamine coming to the plate. Time for the CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Verlander has hit 99 today. I didn't see it, but I'm sure he has. 91 for Pavano. Probably one of those fastballs to Jim Thome, I'm guessing.
I think it was.
Betamine singled and scored his last time up, his first hit as a Tiger. This one lifted and foul ground. Valencia might have a play. And that ends the inning. Another good inning, though, for the Tigers. It starts with 3 hits and a couple of runs. Back to the Coors Light 6th inning in the Coors Light freeze cam. Bert Blyleven's curve considered the gold standard. Well, let's compare Verlander's to his.
Well, Verlander a 12-6. Look at starts, look shoulder high. Watch the hitter buckle right here. And that ball comes, Bert. Oops! I thought it was going to hit me. And then Bert's a little bit more 2 to 8 type, and Verlander's more 12-6. Both of them very effective. Bert's a little bit more knee buckling, as I recall it. Boy, was I glad I was a switch hitter to hit left-handed against him.
That looked like Chester Lemon flinching in the batter's box at Tiger Stadium.
I think it was Chet.
Well, Twins have some coming back to do. 5-0, and Drew Butera will lead off the 6th. One strike. Butera popped up to Cabrera, halfway between home plate and first base. I asked Drew about catching yesterday, the day game after the night game, and the oppressive heat and humidity, and he said that wasn't nearly as bad as the doubleheader. Drew didn't catch both games of the doubleheader, but the conditions here on Monday for a catcher, at least that catcher, were much more difficult than yesterday.
It was oppressive. It felt like the convection oven, didn't it? It just like there was no escape.
Much more moderate temperatures. We hope that continues through the weekend here. 1-2 to Butera, trying to get aboard here against Verlander. This is his 82nd pitch. Curveball got him. I don't know if Butera buckled, but he didn't swing.
Yeah, this is more of a Bert Blyleven curveball. Watch this. This is a little bit more sideways, and it wasn't so much as of a buckle, but it was a mental buckle. In
the first 5 seasons, each pitcher's averaged 17 wins, 192 strikeouts for Verlander, many more for Blyleven. But remember, it was a 4-man rotation for Bert. Right. He got more starts, more innings, and with that came more strikeouts. Here's Revere squaring the bunt, taking a strike.
Verlander's got a long way to go. Very similar numbers, very similar kinds of stuff. Verlander throws a little harder than Bert did, but he's got a long way to go to continue the consistency that Bert had for the first 10, 12, 15. How many years?
22, whatever. Do we count the ones in the National League?
No. What's the National League?
For his part, Verlander has set his goal to join Bert in the Hall of Fame sometime. He says he wants to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. He's off to a very good start, but so many factors come into it. Health, the quality of the club you play on. Here's a drive to center, and caught by the center fielder Jackson. 2 down, and that'll bring up Casilla. Our AT&T trivia question, just a shot in the dark on my part, but I'll go with Willie Hernandez at 84.
Well, I don't see how you can be the MVP and not be the Cy Young Award winner, so I liked your guess. Good one by you.
Tigers that year started 35-4. They pretty much wrapped up the division early, breezed through the playoffs and the World Series. Sparky Anderson at the time became the first manager to win a World Series in each league. He'd won a couple with the Cincinnati Reds. 1-0 to Alexi Casilla.
And back to your Verlander quest for the Hall of Fame subject, that there's health is certainly part of it. A big part of it, though, is going to be consistency of his ability, his attitude, and ability to keep going out there with and having the command with this stuff. You got to really want to pitch. Every time out there, you have to be a dominant pitcher in your era, and then put up the numbers too. As we saw with Bert, I don't think there's any question that Bert was a dominant pitcher in his era. But the problem was there were some, as Verlander just paints the inside corner, some people thought he didn't quite have the numbers, and you got to put those up there. Bert did have the numbers, and I think finally that was borne out for him, and rightfully so. But you can't just pitch 5 or 6 innings. You can't play 8 seasons. Right. If that were the case, Tony O would have been in long ago. He had 8 of the best seasons that a guy could ever have, and it's a travesty he's not in there.
2-2 to Casilla. And a base hit to right. Just the third Twins hit. It gets Mauer to the plate with a man aboard. Arby's and Fox Sports North are giving you a chance to win a trip for 2 to Fort Myers, Florida. Pick up an Arby's It's Good Mood Food code card every Friday at any participating Arby's. Tomorrow's one of those Fridays. Then log on to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Fan Zone tab, enter the code for the chance to win. You've got to be a member of the Fan Zone. That's easy. It's free to join. You've got to be 18 or older. You can visit foxsportsnorth.com for complete contest details.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Verlander pitches to Joe this time at bat. Joe getting the base hit last time. There's a nasty pitch, 93 on the inside corner. Joe doesn't want it in there necessarily. He likes the ball out over the plate a little bit more. And earlier, it was a bat that he got the single in the 4th. Verlander started with a lot of breaking balls and even a changeup. Joe fouled a bunch of pitches off, finally got a fastball out over the plate that he could handle and lined it to left. So it'll be interesting with a 3-run lead and 2 out, Kadire and Tomey to follow. It'll be real interesting to see how Verlander pitches Joe here. Starts it inside, get him thinking about having to be quick in there.
Verlander has a very good pickoff move, quick feet. One thing about Verlander, you look at him, he's trim, he looks like an athlete.
Yep.
It looks like he could have been a shortstop.
Yeah, let's not get carried away.
Let's see if you were listening. 1 strike. But there's nothing wrong with a player in Verlander's case saying he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. Nothing wrong with a player setting the bar very, very high.
I love it. I think it's great. Now he's got to go out and get it. He's got to go prove it. He certainly has the stuff to do that.
And Mauer gets his second hit. Casilla will hold up at second. And the Twins get some power at the plate now, and Kadire with 2 men aboard.
I got to believe that that's the kind of base hit and the kind of swing that drives a pitcher crazy. 97, he came in there. Joe took it like he didn't want to. Came right back in there and higher. And Joe throws his hands inside the ball there. Watch his hands come in so he can muscle the ball over the shortstop's head. classic Joe swing there, and really frustrating to a pitcher because that's a good pitch. That gets out most good hitters, that pitch right there, but not Joe this time.
Well, here's Kadire. Twins getting a couple of hits in an inning for the first time against Verlander. They come with 2 outs. Kadire has a triple and a fly ball to center. Just outside, ball 1.
Yeah, then you talk about an interesting how they're going to pitch. Joe last at bat right, and sure enough, he's able to keep the hands in and shoot the ball the other way. Kadire's almost hit 2 home runs, 1 off the wall, 1 to the track, both on sliders. See how Verlander pitches him.
Missing 2-0, and I think in his 2 prior at bats, Kadire had a favorable count like he does now, 2-0.
Right. Right, Coom. I was just going to ask you too. I mean, Mauer's hit there a moment ago was just exactly what you said. Get your hands right straight to the ball.
Driven to right. Ordonez's back. It's over his head. The Twins are going to get a run. Kadire with an RBI hit, sending Mauer to third base. 3 straight 2-out singles, and the Twins get on the board.
And I love that swing and approach by Michael Kadire. I know Ron Coomer loves it as well. He got himself a 2-0 count, which is what you have to try and do against a guy like Verlander. And then he got a pitch again, out over the plate, didn't try to pull it. Watch this. Verlander goes up and away. Michael stays with it. If he tries to pull that ball, he makes an out. Slaps it off. Look how square he stays to the last minute. Keeps the ball and the big end of the bat going to right field. Really good at bat by Michael.
Another key at bat now for Jim Thome. He came up in the 2nd inning with a runner at 3rd, nobody out. Verlander struck him out. Runner at 1st, 2 out in the 4th. Verlander struck him out.
Fastballs early and late the first time, breaking balls early, and then finished him with fastballs the second time. How's he going to pitch him now? Fastballs. 1 strike, and again the velocity ticking upward in the Thome at bats. Although we saw Mauer and Kadire get 97-mile-per-hour fastballs and lining them sharply.
One guy going to the Hall of Fame, the other guy saying he wants to. Here you go.
Yep.
Lifted, foul down the left field line.
See, Coom, we're looking at Fox tracks there, and that's what we were talking about earlier. That pitch right there on the upper outside limit of the strike zone. I just think when it gets 97, 98, this is too tough a pitch to hit. I mean, it may be a strike, but what are you going to do with that when it's thrown 97, 98 miles an hour? I think you're better off taking it and just really focusing in down in the strike zone.
Curve got it. Bent it over the outside corner, and he struck out Thome 3 times. But the Twins get 3 2-out singles and make it a 5-1 game.
games, and there are many of you out there. We've got a great thing for you to analyze some great stats. We got compelling statistics here. It's Game Connect on FoxSportsNorth.com. We've got an interactive Twitter feed where you can discuss the ball game. You see it right there on the left-hand side. A Twitter feed full of Twins discussion, plus all the statistical analysis, everything you possibly could need for that ADD while you're watching the ball game. Dick and Roy, it's a new Game Connect on FoxSportsNorth.com. Log on to it right now. Dick, take your laptop out, open it up, and you try it yourself, okay?
Well, I'm kind of busy right now, Robbie. Otherwise, if I were at home, perhaps I would do that. 1-0. The count to Austin Jackson facing left-hander Chuck James. Jackson, Bosch, and Ordonez. And a pitch fouled to the screen, 1-1. Earlier this year, at one point, the Tigers had 4 left-handed relief pitchers. Now the Twins have 4 left-handed relief pitchers. You've got Glenn Perkins, Jose Majaras, Phil DeMatre, and now James.
I don't personally think you can have too many. Well, you might have too many left-handers, but you need to have a bunch of them in this league, in this era.
Swinging a foul. Jackson's had a tough time making contact. He bounced to short his first time up, and Pavano struck him out a couple of times. For Pavano, though, the only 2 strikeouts he had in the whole ball game. 2-2. And now a full count.
Austin Jackson tends to strike out a lot. He has in his career. As he starts cutting those down, if he can, he's going to become a better and better player. They think the world of this young man. He can really go get the ball in center field.
Foul back. As Ron Gardenhire said this afternoon, the Twins are going to make a roster move after the game, in all likelihood involving Jason Kubel. Don't know whether the Twins are going to keep an extra pitcher, and if not, James may be the guy sent back. We know it's not going to be a position player right now. The Twins have just 3 position players, 3 bench players. Up and away, and Jackson draws a 1. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Brennan Bosch with a 2-run home run his last time up.
And this was a bomb. It was a changeup that just had too much in the strike zone. Big, strong kid, Brennan Bosch, put it in the seats above the scoreboard. That's a long way out there.
His 14th of the year. Took a 1-0 game and made it 3-0, and now it's 5-1. High and tight, ball 1, and Gutierrez will go to the mound.
Here's one of those trips that I was talking about earlier. This is Drew going out to talk with Chuck James and said, hey, this is not you. You don't walk the leadoff hitter and then come in with a high pitch to the next guy. I mean, let's get your mechanics. Let's not try to overthrow the ball. Let's get down here in the strike zone where my target is. And I like that in a catcher. I like a catcher to go out and take charge of his pitchers when he sees something a little bit off.
And as the Twins call to the bullpen to get somebody else warmed up, James throws over to first. Maybe buy a little time for that to happen. DeMatre warmed up earlier. And it looks like he's going to get the call to warm up again. There's a strike, 1-1. Bosch, who really had some lengthy battles with Pavano in the 3 at-bats he had, now facing a left-hander. And you mentioned that one of the keys to Bosch's season so far this year, his improved season, is his ability to hit well against left-handers, hitting at .349. Just the 1 home run in 83 at-bats, but obviously he's not overmatched by left-handed pitching.
That's right, and that's what you have to do as a young left-handed hitter in the major leagues. You have to be able to hold your own, to hold serve against left-handers. That's the hardest thing for a young left-hander to do. They just don't see that many of them coming up through high school and college and the minor leagues, and you've got to be able to learn to hit them, to stay in the lineup.
2-2. You saw Pavano had 3 at-bats with Bosch, and Bosch chewed up 20 pitches in those 3 plate appearances. Pavano finished with somewhere in the neighborhood of 100. So 1/5 of his pitches were thrown in those 3 at-bats.
Yeah, that's a great performance by Bosch, and I have to tell you, that's what it looks to me like he's had the most improvement.
fouled back.
His ability to do that in his at-bats and have that swing right there not result in an out. Have that pitch that could have got him out, not result in an out. And just like we saw with Johnny Peralta, keep fouling off tough pitches, and then when you get a pitch you can't handle, then you don't miss it. That's the key to success as a hitter in the big leagues or anywhere.
2-2 to Bosch. And another 2-strike foul. I mean, this is a completely different player than what the Tigers saw last year, where so often they said he simply got himself out. You get ahead 0-1, 0-2, you throw the ball up there with some spin on it, and he was going to get himself out.
Exactly right. Or get a good pitch to hit, or a fairly good pitch to hit and pop it up, or hit a fly, just hit a lazy fly ball to center. He's fouling off the tough pitches and squaring up the ones that he can hit, and that is, he looks totally different, especially against his left-hander. Didn't have at-bats that looked like this last year against left-handers.
Hit a long way, foul. James trying to pitch around his leadoff walk to a speedy runner in Austin Jackson. So Butera throw out 3 runners in the last 2 games of the Cleveland series. Jackson on the season, 16 steals in 19 tries.
Yeah, 5-1 lead here in the top of the 7th. Pretty good inning for Austin Jackson to try and steal second base. I think he has not and will not, with Bosch hitting, leave that hole open for Bosch. When the right-handers come up, maybe a chance. When you got guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark like numbers 2 through 7 here, it slows down your running game just a little bit. Jim Leyland, Bosch takes just outside to load the count. Jim Leyland not as aggressive on the base paths with Jackson, probably because of the thunder he has behind him.
So now a full count. Pretty good throw out percentage. Popped up, short left field. Delman Young comes in, 1 away. Particularly Butera's numbers particularly good, given the fact that he catches
Carl
Romano.
I was just going to say that. Here it is yesterday. Watch him come firing out of there and throwing the ball right on the money. He did it twice. He has a really nice arm. And again, I have to say, great tag by Nishioka. I love shortstops that tag well. That was a really good tag. But Drew Butera does everything as a catcher, defensive catcher, fundamentally so well. Good examples there of him, of how a catcher fires out, catches the ball, and releases.
Quick trip to the mound by Rick Anderson as he tries to buy a little time here. DeMatre warming up behind James. With the 4 left-handed relievers, the Twins have 3 righties: Alex Burnett, Matt Capps, and Joe Nathan. Nathan, of course, the closer. Ordonez is 0 for 3. Hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield. 1 strike.
There's where the changeup needs to be. That's a good pitch, and that's the difference between a ball getting hit for a hit or a home run in Bosch's case, and a swing and a miss. You can fool a guy with the changeup, and if it's mid-thigh or even knee-high, he can get to it. But if it's down there, he's not going to get to it. There it was again.
0-2.
Perfect spot for a changeup right here. Throw it right down on the top of the plate. Comes out looking like a fastball. A guy like Ordonez likes the low fastball, and then it just keeps going. The bottom keeps dropping out of it.
And a base hit to left. And Jackson will hold up at second. He got ahead of him and then gives up a base hit.
He threw 2 great changeups and then one right where we were talking about it not being a great pitch. 2 really good located, well located changeups, and then one kind of in the middle of his own.
Ordonez is going to leave the game. And it looks like Don Kelly is running. Will replace Ordonez presumably in right field. So the Tigers trying to add to the lead. It's 5-1, and Cabrera has reached all 3 times. And James hits the outside corner with a fastball. Call back, and it's 2 strikes. Cabrera has amassed these numbers at the age of 28. In fact, he just turned 28 during the baseball season, the regular season. So he's still a very young player and already has over 1,500 hits. Already is on his way towards his 300th home run.
Well, and like the discussion with Verlander, if he stays healthy and he keeps himself in good shape and wants to, he could be as good, one of the best hitters in the game by the time it's all over.
To center, and Revere makes the catch, out number 2. So Cabrera retired for the first time, 2 down. If you want to become a Twins season ticket holder, the only way to do so is to become a member of the Twins On Deck Circle. The On Deck Circle is currently 3,000 members strong and growing. Sign up today to take advantage of exclusive benefits and future season ticket opportunities. If you'd like more information, call 800-33-TWINS or visit www.twinsbaseball.com today. As a veteran of Metropolitan Stadium and playing in front of some pretty small crowds, did you ever think there would be a day when there would be a waiting list for season tickets of 3,000 or more for the Minnesota Twins?
Well, if you had told me, if you'd given me a architect's rendition of this ballpark back when I was playing at the Metrodome and said this is where they're going to play someday, I might have tried to play until I was 60 years old so I could be here too.
Well, you've seen so many ballparks.
Not that I'm 60. I didn't mean that.
You've seen so many ballparks, and you know, in your playing days, and travel a little bit as a broadcaster, and you just do some traveling, and I'm sure go to ball games. Where would you rank this one?
Number 1. I haven't seen all of the so-called new modern day old school ballparks, but you know, I just can't imagine one. The ones I have seen don't even come close. I know the new Yankee Stadium is wonderful, although I've heard even Yankee people say this is the best. And I can't imagine a better one. I really can't.
3-0.
I played in an era where it was the really wonderful, not the old school for a reason, ballparks.
It'll be a tough play. Revere hustling in. Basket catch to end the inning.
Say hey.
Tigers threaten. They don't score. It's time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Medica. Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Try a strawberry banana or wild berry fruit smoothie today. By CenturyLink. Quest is becoming CenturyLink. CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com. And by Goldman Sachs. For all the reasons you invest. Mutual funds from Goldman Sachs. Tigers in the middle innings piled up 5 runs against Carl Pavano. Justin Verlander gave one back in the 6th. The Twins hit now in the 7th inning with Danny Valencia leading things off. Don Kelly does stay in the game and take over in right field. Valencia, Young, and Nishioka to hit. Valencia 0 for 2. And strike one. He's been in control, and control one of the key factors for Verlander as he's evolved as a pitcher. Gets ahead, strike one, strike two.
Here's a great example of what I was talking about earlier on. Danny Valencia's hit chart here, most everything from center around to left. That means the guy's setting up to pull the ball almost exclusively. You know, those hits that he's gotten to right field have all been, as I recall, I bet most of them have been huge hits, maybe game-winning hits. And you know, I mean, it's good on him that he's been able to adjust mid at bat, but he's got to do that more often earlier.
Benameat throws to Cabrera. And the Tiger third baseman gets his first ground ball chance. Here's the Grand Casino story of the game.
Brendan Bosley hitting a low changeup and putting the Tigers up 3-0. So far, that's all Justin Verlander has needed with this stuff that he's got, throwing 95 to 97 miles an hour, 2 different breaking balls and a changeup, all for strikes. He's been awfully tough.
Delman Young takes strike one.
And I'm not exactly sure why. We saw Danny Valencia take 2 pitches from the middle to just inside middle. There's a ball down the middle of Delman, and unless they're instructed to take a strike and hope Verlander gets wild, you got to be swinging at those, not those. I mean, I don't understand the taking of fastballs down the middle against a guy that's got this kind of stuff, unless manager Ron Gardenhire said, look, we got to take a strike here and see if he'll get wild. But that has not been the way Verlander has pitched this year. Kind of thinking that those fastballs being taken is not coming from the dugout.
2 strikes. And a bouncer to short. Peralta over to Cabrera, 2 down. Time for our in-game box score, brought to you by Pepsi Max. See, not much going, although Mauer has a couple of hits. Kadair has a couple of hits. Twins had one chance to take a lead. Kadair tripled with nobody out, leading off the 2nd inning. But then Tomey and Valencia struck out, and Young bounced out, and that was the end of the threat until the 6th inning. Here's Nishioka. Nishioka asked for time, it looked like. Adrian Johnson didn't give it to him, and he took ball 1. One and one. Swing and a miss with Nishioka's front foot pointing toward right field.
He has an Ichiro Suzuki type of approach at the plate. Looks very, very similar as he approaches the ball. The difference is Ichiro stays parallel to the line of flight of the ball with his front side much longer. You see Nishi's front side coming out there a little bit. And if your head's gonna move forward like his does, you really have to stay parallel with that front side. You can't open up like that. That slows your bat down so much. Watch, he'll glide out there, but then he fires open, and the bat head just doesn't come quick enough. 9th, where Justin Verlander and the Tigers have the Twins down 5-1. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins.
High fly to deep left field. A majestic fly ball home run into the second deck on the first pitch from Johnny Peralta. He's driven in a run in each of his last 3 at-bats, and it's 6-1.
Well, I'd like to disclaim that swing, but sorry about that. I had to watch it. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins LLC. Wow.
That was a towering fly ball, Roy.
It was a towering, majestic home run. Yes, it was.
Here's Carlos Guillen, 0 for 3. 0 for 2. A sacrifice fly his last time up. Fouled off of Butera, 1 strike.
I got to tell you, I really think that Johnny Peralta's emergence as the kind of hitter he's been this year has been one of the keys for the Detroit Tigers' success this year. It's one thing to have Cabrera and Victor Martinez, but they can't do it all the time by themselves. They have one more guy that's been that good. He's hitting 350 something, I think, with men in scoring position and 2 outs. And all 3 of those guys have numbers like that with runners in scoring position. And that's just so hard to get through as a pitcher, get through those guys like that.
1-1 to Carlos Guillen.
We saw that with Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau, and if Michael Kadire was not swinging real well behind them against left-handed pitching, or Jason Krugel not swinging real well, the Twins weren't as good. But you get one more of those guys.
Guillen gets his first hit.
You get one more of those guys swinging well, it makes a huge difference in your lineup.
Well, Peralta hitting his 15th home run of the year.
And there's a high fastball that he just unloads on. Stayed back. It was almost just a complete spin, but it was a majestic home run.
Out of our camera shot right there. You know, and as you got Detroit and Cleveland battling it out on top of the division right now, and it may come down. There's a drive to left, and Delvin Young can make a play on this one down. The race may come down to the fact that Cleveland traded Peralta within the division to Detroit.
Very well could come down to that. And you know, the other thing is that I know that when Johnny was in Cleveland, there was some dissatisfaction with his shortstop play defensively, and Jim Leyland is a kind of manager that, you know, he wants a shortstop that is going to make the plays that he wants him to make, and he's willing to what he's seen. Evidently, Johnny Peralta has acquitted himself very well defensively.
They felt in Cleveland that his range was lacking, and it hasn't gotten any better in Detroit. It's just that the Tigers are saying, look, just make the plays on the balls you can get to. We can live with shortened range a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I didn't have real good range at shortstop either, and set a couple records for assists by a shortstop in the American League. One double play record, Major League double play record, 1979, and I hit a little bit, you know, and I went to the Yankees and they kept trying to play somebody else. I heard the same thing. He doesn't have any range, and they'd try somebody else out there that had better range and couldn't hit, and I just kept ending up getting back out there.
Homestand concludes on Sunday, a 3-10 start against Detroit. And the Tiger series is presented by Denizen Jeans, available exclusively at Target. You can come early and watch Burt Blyleven's Hall of Fame induction speech live from Cooperstown, and all the fans in attendance will receive a Burt Blyleven poster featuring a print from artist Robert Blahart. Call 833-TWINS to check on ticket availability. The Twins setting back the start time. For those of you who have tickets, and it's not to suggest you're going to want to delay your arrival here, because the reason they're moving the start time back is because of Bert's induction speech. He's promised to go at least 45 minutes. So you will want to get here early and not miss a word or a laugh or any other noises that might be coming from the podium.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say you might get every word but miss some of the other things.
2-1
That'll be great for the fans. That's a really cool thing to do. That'll be fun to sit here and watch and listen.
Fouled back by Jackson.
I know one thing. I'm going to sit here with my cat-like instincts and listen to everything that Bert says.
Is that right? Okay. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Jackson struck out for the third time. Tigers get another run. Peralta's 15th home run of the year.
Presented by CenturyLink, featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about Justin Verlander and the job that he has done tonight. He has been right on target, 110 pitches and still going, which is what we expected from Justin Verlander tonight. Hands inside the ball is the instructional tonight. You heard Roy Smalley a couple times on Joe Mauer's hits talk about how he keeps his hands inside the ball. Plus, you'll hear from both managers, Rod Gardenhire and Jim Leland, following the ballgame. Dick and Roy.
Thank you, Robbie. Might have been some Twins hitters hoping that 110 pitches would be enough for Verlander. Yet he's out there in the 8th. He'll face Drew Butera, Ben Revere, and Alexi Casillas. Breaking ball missing, and it's 1-1.
Big breaking ball that Verlander has. He had a good spot too, just a little bit low, but there's the same one again. This is in a perfect spot. It's so hard to pick up that pitch and that speed when a guy's throwing 92 to 97 rated at will, because the ball comes out at the inside part of the plate and you're not sure for a minute if it's a fastball. Oh man, is that nasty. Sometimes you take a pitch because you can't hit it. Here's an example of taking a pitch simply because there's no way you can hit it anyway, so you might as well hope it's called a ball.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. 2-2 to Butera. Inside now.
See that pitch right there, that gets your attention. You think you might get that one, and the ball starts it on that plane and then breaks down and away. And that's the art of hitting in the big leagues. You got about a half a second to decide which one of those pitches that is.
So Jeff Jones, the new pitching coach. Rick Knapp let go abruptly a few weeks ago. Knapp, by the way, spending some time here in the state of Minnesota. Former Twin minor league pitching coordinator, and he was hired out of the Twins organization by the Tigers. And
he had done a nice job having with a lot of the young pitchers in the Twins.
A lot of people in baseball were surprised. I don't think Rick Knapp's going to have any problem finding another job.
Right.
3-2. Pulled foul near the end of the Tiger dugout. Into the camera section, and we hope everybody's all right down there.
That didn't look good.
Cameras, lenses, they can all be replaced. Easy for me to say. The lens that woman had probably is worth more than I am.
She was very, very concerned about that lens. I'm glad it didn't hit her. Here's a situation, if you're Drew Butera, you just get on the fastball, get it down in the zone, and just take a rip.
Verlander having a long, protracted battle here with Butera, who steps out of the box. 8th pitch of the at-bat. Shaking off twice. That's the one I want.
Now he's going to come back with a fastball. That was just
well, it's as if Verlander said, all right, enough of this. 1 away.
You know, that's a funny little game that the pitcher and the catcher will play. He'll shake and shake and shake. You know he's going to throw a fastball. But this shake right here, that means no, I'm going to fool you, but let me throw something else. But he was always going to throw the fastball. A lot of times the catcher will shake his own head, say, here, shake your head to this. Let's try to fool the hitter.
1 down. Here's Ben Revere.
But again, 95 on the black outside. It's just sometimes it's not fair.
Tap to first, and Cabrera bobbles it and waits for Revere, tagging him out number 2.
How come Ben didn't run him down?
Outdoor enthusiasts, Fox Sports North is your home for the best outdoor programming every Saturday and Sunday. You can learn about hunting, fishing, and help you plan for your next outdoor adventure. Fox Sports North Outdoors, presented by Menards, Saturday at 6 and Sundays at 8, only on Fox Sports North. His last start before tonight was not a quality start, and so I think the hope was for the Twins and their fans that maybe he was going to into a bit of a slump, but he has been very, very strong and sharp here tonight. White Sox beat him 8-2. And Casilla walks up the box, takes a strike.
And when you see a guy with this kind of stuff get beat 8-2, you know what's going on. He loses command of his fastball that he's had great command with his fastball all night tonight. But he'll lose command, which means he can't throw it where he wants to. He's getting 2-0 and 3-1 and throwing the ball in the middle of the plate. And White Sox hitters can hit a fastball if they get it in the middle of the plate. A guy with this stuff, sometimes even they lose their ability to throw it over. And in the big leagues, that means you're going to get roughed up.
A season high 129 pitches, that coming 3 starts ago against the Angels. And of course, earlier this year, he threw his second no-hitter. And looked very much on the last out like a pitcher who fully expects to throw another 1 or 2. I mean, he wasn't celebrating. He just looked like he had just thrown a shutout or a complete game.
Yeah, I love his demeanor on the mound now. He really looks like he's in control of his emotions. I mean, that's about as much. You can see this little shake of the head. Before you could see he'd be visibly frustrated by different things that went on in the field, his fault or others.
3-2. Getting the ball back from Avila, getting back on the rubber, trying to finish the 8th inning. It'll probably be his last inning. And he wants to retire Casilla and not have to deal with Mauer here in the 8th. Driven deep to the right field corner. But foul. So Casilla turned on one at 94 miles per hour, and he made a bid for an extra base hit.
Lexi can hit a fastball too when he has a good idea that it's coming. Again, 3-2 with a 5-run lead. The fastball's coming. There's that low fastball to a left-hander. That's a good pitch for Lexi. Boy, it was just foul. Good swing. Lexi's had some real good swings these last couple of days. Good to see. He's staying high on his backside. By that I mean his front side's not spinning out and his back shoulder dipping. He's staying very, very square. Level swing. Do it again.
And he sends one high and deep to right.
Just got in on it.
Kelly in the corner has room to make the catch. 8 impressive, overpowering innings by Justin Verlander. It's 6-1. Stay tuned for the Gander Mountain weekend weather update for Twins territory. 6-1 Detroit. Twins running into Justin Verlander at the very top of his game here tonight. He didn't throw a no-hitter, but he didn't give the Twins much room to breathe either.
He really did not, and he got real big outs when he had to. And a couple of times the Twins threatened, he was able to reach back, get a little extra velocity, make a couple of really good pitches with breaking balls. 1 run on 5 hits. That's the result.
It'll be Brennan Bosch, Don Kelly, and Miguel Cabrera facing a new Twins pitcher, left-hander Phil Dumatre. And there's a strike over the inside corner. 2 innings for Chuck James. He gave up 3 hits, a run, and a walk. Now Dumatre delivers strike 1 and strike 2.
You know, I'm astounded by this, Dick. I really am. I'm just informed that, as you probably know this, Verlander threw 126 pitches. I wasn't counting. I don't have the count, but 126 pitches tonight.
Yeah.
And that's the 4th most he's thrown in a game in his career. I mean, just this season, I'm told. Oh my gosh, I thought it was his career. Just this season. I mean,
right.
that's a horse for you in this day and age where guys throw. You know, and you and Bert have talked about this, and Bert, you know, just can't stand the way it is now. The pitch counts around 100, and then they start getting the bullpen parade. And he's thrown 126 pitches or more 4 times this season.
Valencia has no play. Well, the Tigers have this big 4-game series here, and they'd love to keep their thumb on the Twins. If they win tonight, that'll be 6 for 6 against them this year. And then they go to Chicago, play 3 games there, 4 games against the Angels. Then they have an off day, but they don't have any more off days from now through the month of July. So every inning that Verlander's able to pitch is going to save the bullpen, you know, from having to pitch that inning.
Yeah, it's a great point, but you know, it's a fine line in this day and age where managers want to protect their arms protect the arms of their pitchers, and especially the horse. I mean, this guy wants to be in the Hall of Fame. You know what that means to this. That means he's the #1 guy on this staff, and in this day and age of trying to protect those guys, it's just amazing that he just keeps going out there and throwing 120 pitches. And look at him. I mean, there's no ice on his shoulder or his elbow, his jacket. I mean, he looks like
no bags under his eyes.
I mean, why am I sitting here watching this game? I could let me finish it off in the 9th inning, but. You know, I just think that's as much his mindset as it is Jim Leyland saving the bullpen. And you make a great point, Dick. I mean, that bullpen, now they're going to, with the rest of that starting staff being as suspect as it has been, you know, you make a great point about saving every inning you possibly can of the bullpen guys, because you're going to need them when Verlander doesn't pitch.
Well,
on the other hand, this guy, if he wants to be in the Hall of Fame, you know how you do that? You go out and pitch. And you pitch and pitch and pitch.
Well, you look at the Tiger pitching statistics, and of course there aren't many Verlanders out there. There's a called 3rd strike. Bosch finally strikes out. All those 2-strike fouls he's been wasting, and he finally takes a called 3rd strike. So with Verlander going 8 innings, he's now at 165. The next highest number of innings pitched by a Tiger pitcher is tomorrow's starter, Scherzer, with 119. And then you go down to Brad Penny, 160. Now, those are all representative. There's a bouncer to first. Bauer makes the play, 2 down. I mean, those are normal pitch loads for this time of the year for pitchers. But, you know, then you're getting beyond those guys, and then that's where you're going to stretch out your bullpen and maybe run into some trouble. 2 down, and here's Cabrera. There's Scherzer on the right. He'll go tomorrow. And the Twins will send left-hander Brian Dunsing to the mound. And then Saturday, Scott Baker comes back. He'll face Brad Penny. And then Rick Porcello against Francisco Liriano.
And you know what I think is funny about that shot? We saw Verlander standing there next to Scherzer, tomorrow's pitcher. And you'd say, in most cases, the guy tonight could impart some knowledge to the next guy. And not denigrating Scherzer's stuff. He's got good stuff, but it ain't like the guy we saw tonight. I don't know what he's going to tell him. Well, all you have to do is throw at 93 most of the night, 98 when you have to. If you think they might be looking for something, throw a double breaking curveball or a hard slider or something.
2-0 to Cabrera.
I just love his demeanor now. That's just a different guy than we've seen in the past. It just
remember
looks so much more relaxed.
3 years ago, Carlos Gomez, and I think everybody knew what he was trying to say, but it came out improperly. Questioned, Verlander's intellect, and it was a bouncer foul.
Who was?
Carlos Gomez. Yeah.
So.
But there aren't many guys like that around anymore. Roy Halladay is one now in the National League, and certainly Felix Hernandez is. CC Sabathia's been pitching lights out for the Yankees. Bo, now when you came up and in Bert's first era with the Twins, it seemed like every team had that guy, or a lot of them did.
Oh, man.
The Tigers had, Mickey Lolich, they had Denny McLain going back into the late 60s. They had two guys that were.
There were a lot of teams that had two guys. When I came up, there were there was Tanana and Ryan. I mean, you can go into the Angels into Anaheim, and that was an 0 for 12 as fast as you could blink. You go into Baltimore, and we'd see Mike Cuellar, Jim Palmer, McNally and Dobson, and then later on McGregor and Flanagan and those guys. And Mike Boddicker, Storm Davis, and a good staff. The Yankees had Catfish Hunter. Well, first the A's with Vida Blue and Catfish Hunter and Blue Marobe and those guys, and then Catfish went to the Yankees. We had to see him there too with Ed Figueroa and Ron Guidry. And
Jose Valverde, the closer, in a non-save situation. Phil Koch is the left-hander down there with Mauer leading off. We'll see how the Tigers handle the ninth inning. Strike one to Victor Martinez.
A lot of instances I felt sorry for the, not really, but I mean you could feel sorry for the third or fourth starter, because after you saw Ryan and Tanana, it almost didn't matter what the next guy had. I mean,
everything looked hittable.
You couldn't wait to get to the plate. Just give me something normal here.
2 strikes to Martinez. Dumatre trying to pitch through the ninth inning. See what the Twins can do in the bottom of the ninth with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. That's in the dirt. Butera will retrieve it. Cabrera will go to second.
I like Phil Dumatre's stuff for a left-handed reliever in this league. I really do. I think as he gets more and more comfortable and is able to throw strike, strike, strike all the time with the 2 or 3 pitches that he has, I think he's going to be very effective. I think he's been impressive. And the only thing that I've seen with Phil is he has a tendency to not be able to have great command right away when he comes into a game. When he does, he's very effective. And I think he will get there. I think he'll get to a place where he can come in and throw a lot of strikes and consistently and be very effective out of the pen.
1 and 2. Popped up short center field, and Revere trots in, and that ends the inning. A scoreless ninth for Dumatre. We'll see what the Twins can get done at the bottom of the inning.
stuff at the beginning of the game. You want to know why he's so good. Look at this fastball, 98 on the either corner anytime he wants to. You get thinking about a fastball, he'll throw you an 89-mile-an-hour fastball or a slider, and then drop a curveball on you, a back door that breaks it about 3 feet. He's the deliverer of the game right here.
Jimmy John's delivery of the game, an impressive outing for Justin Verlander. The Tigers actually sent him back a day to pitch in the opening game of the series rather than have him pitch yesterday.
Well, that's just not right, is it?
They had call up Dwayne Bilo, made the start for them, and they ended up losing the ball game. Here's Phil Koch, who was in the starting rotation. And that didn't last very long because of those numbers.
Dwayne Bilo? You think he wouldn't be called lookout in the clubhouse? I'll tell him. He'd come up and his nickname would be decided pretty quick.
Bauer has a pair of hits. And he will start the ninth inning here for the Twins. Koch made 14 starts, then he was pushed to the bullpen, and so the Tigers are looking to add starting pitching before the end of the month. See, Joe's punishing right-handers, and even his left-handed average is coming up.
He's been one of the best left-handers in the league, or in baseball, left-hand hitters against left-handed pitching. And not surprising that with him struggling a little bit early, trying to get back into the swing of things, pardon the pun, that it would be the left-handers that would give him a little trouble. That's just natural for a left-hand hitter. But end of the season, the numbers are going to be there again, and he will have hit left-handers very well.
Comes inside, gets a bouncer foul. Koch gets ahead of Mauer quickly. Early on, when Koch was with the Yankees, in fact, in one weekend series, Koch served up 2 home runs to Joe. Mauer got 3 hits in his first 4 at-bats against him, but since then has gone hitless in 5 at-bats. In the dirt, 1 and 2. So the 4 fixtures in the rotation, with Koch no longer in the rotation. Of course, the Twins will see all 4. Verlander, Scherzer, Penny, and Porcello. Mentioned Charlie Furbush's name. He made a couple of starts in Koch's spot. Bilo did yesterday. Cabrera to Koch, and Mauer retired, 1 away.
But I don't believe that Jim Leyland thinks that that's the answer. In number 5 starter and even number 4, that Porcello and Scherzer not pitched as well. I'm afraid, that maybe pitching coach Rick Knapp was let go because of Porcello and Scherzer not pitching the way they thought that they ought to. And you certainly can't fire the pitchers or fire the coach.
Here's Kadire. He's had a good day at the plate. A triple off the wall in right center, a deep fly ball to center, and a sharp single to right. 1 strike.
Real good at bats by Michael Kadire all night tonight. He went at Verlander as well, with as good an approach as I've seen against Verlander. Anybody have, right or left-handed.
1 and 1. The Twins will have a rotation in the foreseeable future of Pavano, Dunsing, Baker. And Kadire has his soft liner caught by the second baseman Guillen, 2 down. The 5 starters who've gone most of the way, Nick Blackburn. And therein lies the advantage the Twins have over the Tigers again.
Yeah, I think on the mound, with the exception of Verlander, the Twins match up very, very well pitcher on pitcher against the Tigers. Of course, the Tigers catch the Twins limping just a little bit, relatively speaking, with their lineups not being. The Tigers are at full strength and better than they've ever been, or not ever, but recently been, and the Twins missing a couple of key players.
Thome takes a strike. Jim struck out 3 times, twice swinging, once looking against Verlander.
And Verlander pitched this big guy about as well and as nasty as he pitched anybody in the Twins lineup tonight. 3 times. Just nasty pitches right on the perimeters of the zone. When they threw fastballs, they were 97, 98. They were up in the zone, up in the upper perimeter of the strike zone, which is the toughest place to hit a fastball. They were on the outside corner and up. He just pitched him really, really tough.
2-1. Well, in each case, Thome came up with a man on base, and then again, the thing that makes those number ones so special, Verlander was like a completely different pitcher.
Yeah, he really was. 92, 93 fastball to most everybody until he got in what he perceived to be a little bit of trouble, and then all of a sudden it got to be 97, 98.
3-1. Valencia on deck. Twins have 3 more games here with Detroit, and then they've got a really long road trip.
Yeah, another tough one out to the coast, the West Coast.
3-1 to Thome. And now 3-2.
We were talking about how tough Verlander pitched Thome, and it was just nasty stuff all over the zone all night long. And what amazes me is that, as we were saying, he was able to go from 93 to 98 when he wanted to, and still throw it on the perimeters of the strike zone. It wasn't just saying, I'm going to rear back and throw it in for right down the middle. It was in tough spots at 5 miles an hour faster. Pretty impressive stuff. It really was.
Full count to Thome. And a pitch up just a little bit. Thome reaches with 2 gone in the 9th. Repko will run for Thome. And Valencia 0 for 3.
Danny hits left-handers really, really well. Here's an opportunity for him to have a nice at-bat, get some good swings against a left-hander, maybe even do some damage, drive in a run, keep the thing going, serve notice to the bullpen that the Twins are going to play all 9 innings, and you got to pitch to them. Get yourself something big here, Danny.
Outside, ball 1. You look at Koch's numbers, and I mean, there's nothing obscene about them. I mean, an ERA is high, but a few more hits than innings pitched, but he hasn't walked the ballpark full. He's only given up 4 home runs. So you wonder if, absent an addition outside the organization coming over in a trade, whether Koch might not find himself back in the rotation for lack of a better option. This one fouled back, and it's 1-2.
That really could be the case, and it could be that manager Jim Leland he wanted to have Koch's stuff in the bullpen as a left-hander.
Yeah.
You look at the other guys that he's got out there, and not exactly Glenn Perkins or Rafael Perez or Tony Sipp or one of those guys in terms of stuff, and you really do need a kind of a shutdown left-hander. Maybe he's hoping that Koch can be that guy, and he'll try to figure out a starter as best he can.
Valencia taps it to third. Betamit throws, and he nearly hit Koch. The ball rolling free. Repko's going to come around third and score. And Valencia back to the bag safely. Now Betamit playing in his first game for the Tigers, and he picked the ball up and nearly hit his pitcher kneeling in front of the mound.
I'm going to tell you, he's going to take some heat for this play right here. They're going to ask him who he was throwing to and what he was doing right there. The ball just got out of his fingertips, and he continued to throw it. It would have been better served just sticking that one in his pocket and waiting to have him Koch get the next guy.
Well, Repko, to his credit, hustled all the way around from first base and scored. It is a hit for Valencia, an error charge to Betamit, and here's Delman Young. It's 6-2. Strike of the knees.
I always think these at-bats at the end of the game, in a game that appears to be a little bit out of hand, are important because, one, you never know, and two, it gets you ready for tomorrow.
Koch fires, and Cabrera comes back down on the bag. He nearly threw one away as well. So the Twins lose the opener to the Detroit Tigers. More specifically, Anthony, they lost it to a guy who very likely will win the Cy Young Award this year in the American League.
Looked like it tonight. We'll show you how he picked apart the Minnesota lineup. We'll hear from both managers and hit the field for our instructional to show you how Joe Mauer hits with his hands inside the